Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. Here we are near the end of January. Alex Navarro, can you believe it's only been like 3+ weeks of January?
Gonna be honest with you, my mind filled in the end of that sentence as we are nearing the end of 2026, and I was about to be very relieved. Wishful thinking.
Brad Shoemaker.
I mean, January has been the longest year of my life. So, sure.
It's been a long one, and
exhausting in various ways.
Yeah, apparently has not seen its shadow yet. If we're, if we're spotty, distracted, we talked about it on the Ramblecast, fried, there's a lot of shit going on. We'll try to keep things moving around here, though. But shout out to everyone doing God's work out there. And keeping
all our
this,
friends in Minneapolis,
trying to keep this country fucking together.
In Minnesota, everywhere that they are dealing with ice bullshit right now. Bless them all.
I'm going to switch gears here, and I'm going to talk about my personal minor struggles in 2026.
Okay, minor struggles. Got it.
Yeah,
very small struggles.
And my struggle with minors, particularly my children.
Okay.
I had to say that very quickly.
Yeah, I understand. You did the right thing there.
Yep. Their bedtime has increased to about 9:30 p.m., which is starting to, in my 2026 lifestyle, really get pretty close to my current bedtime, which is now somewhere around 10:30, or at least when I start to collapse. I have two things. One, I've tried to exercise more in the morning. That makes me tired in the evening. Two, I have told myself I'm going to try and get more sleep. I'm going to try to get to bed by 11 because I have to get up at like 6:30 or so, right?
You're a morning person.
I am definitely not.
No, you have to be a morning. That's what I mean. It's by necessity.
By necessity, right. And I'm like, because I had been going to bed at like 1 or 2 and then getting up at like 6:30, and I think it was just not good for me. I know it's not good for me. So that has put a real strain on my ability to commandeer the TV or to get in my gaming time. I have had more nights of just now falling asleep with the controller in my hand as I kind of been walking into a wall, or just trying to find the time between things, like, I have an hour here, I have an hour there. And then the weekends have been, this last weekend was a lot of snow, so it was a lot of shoveling. But I find, probably not unlike a lot of people, if I'm not doing a console game, if I get my ass into the chair in front of the computer, I am so easily sidelined by checking in on what the fuck is happening in the world.
Right.
To be like, oh shit, I wind up derailed for periods of time that just are, let's say, not conducive to wanting to then go play a game or something like that.
Yeah,
right? Sit back
I get that.
And play a game.
Like you, about 10 o'clock is where I'm not like falling asleep at 10 o'clock, but if that's about the point where I'm like, all right, I should get to bed soon enough that it's probably time to stop playing whatever I'm playing.
That's the part where serious cognitive function ends, and basically I can only passively absorb things. And
so I turned off Silent Hill about 10 o'clock a couple nights ago. Again, with the intention of going to bed, and the next thing I knew, it was midnight, and I had been scrolling news for 2 hours.
That's I've tried to not do that. I've been reading. Luckily, I have the gigantic volume 1 and 2 of, I think we talked about this, the original Marvel G.I. Joe Larry Hama run.
About this a lot, yeah.
So I've been reading that and putting my phone and iPads away, because I know would be in the same exact position because it's just like, oh, it's been 5 minutes. What happened now, right?
Yep. I stopped bringing my iPad to bed a couple of years ago now, maybe. Huge improvement.
Improvement. One more thing is that I don't know how this happened, but I'm going to blame my wife because she condoned it. We have now gotten into a routine of a Monk episode in the evening.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I love Monk. I think
it's
Monk
a delightful little show.
But it means that now, sometimes that runs over into 9:45. The kids love Monk. Everybody knows it's Tony Shalhoub.
All the fucking Gen Alpha, all the Zoomers, they are Shalhoub crazy.
And so that that also winds up being screen time. And that winds up being like, well, I just spent this 45 minutes in front of the screen and now everybody's going to go to bed. Now, it used to be like when the kids would go to bed at like 8:30, there was no screens. And then I would have a fresh jump in front of the screen and it'd be sitting on the couch for the first time at like 8:30. Now I'm already like sitting on the couch cozy for 40 minutes or whatever. That doesn't help me staying up any later. Alex, please.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to get yourself into a nice fugue state where you forget about the world for a few hours, can I recommend aggressively looking up every 80s cartoon intro you can possibly find, which is what I did last night.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still doing.
Is that getting you wired up, or is that taking you into a hole?
Yes, both.
Okay.
So, like, we have our patron's choice right now. The ranking of 80s cartoon intros seems to be winning by a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I might as well start preparing. I mean, you know, the voting could always take a turn, but I figured I might as well at least have that stuff ready just in case. So I started digging through it. And, you know, I have a lot of these shows, or at least I have episodes of them that I can just sort of pull the intros off. It's easy enough. I got your Transformers, I got your G.I. Joes, your Thundercats, what have you. But I'm looking through this, like, lists of cartoons from this era, and I am discovering shows, rediscovering things, word combinations that I have not thought of in so long as to trigger strange sense memories when they are viewed upon again. Like, Vinny, you mentioned dino saucers, a thing that I had not thought of in probably 35 years.
Yeah, that's yep.
I'm going to say 5 words to you, and I want to know if they mean anything to you at all, or if this was even beyond your time.
Okay.
Rude Dog and the Dweebs.
No, I mean, maybe no.
I don't
So
think
this is a late 80s cartoon.
But I feel like Rude Dog, if you just stop that Rude Dog, I think I remember t-shirts with Rude Dog.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. They made a cartoon of the Rude Dog from the 80s t-shirts, gave him a gang called the Dweebs, and made 13 episodes of an extremely mid cartoon.
Okay, great.
But I have somehow seen every episode, apparently, of Rude Dog and the Dweebs, because as I started scrolling through, I was like, I've seen all these. Fuck.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here's a question. Since we're going to have to establish a lot of rules around that stream in terms of, like, time frame and, you know, intended audience.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one for you.
Okay.
Capital Critters. Are we going to loop in the also ran, like, micro phenomenon of other networks trying to get at The Simpsons or not?
I'm going to say no.
Or is that are those too much like adult cartoons for this?
I think anything that is aimed at prime time does not count for what we are talking about here.
Okay.
And this is animated primarily, right?
Yes. We were talking about cartoons. We were mostly talking about, I would say, anything that is Saturday morning, weekday morning, or weekday afternoon. Any of that stuff is viable.
Okay. So the Disney block counts, but also
DuckTales counts.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Do you have that Pac-Man cartoon on there?
I have it on the list. I have not found it yet, but I have it on the list.
Because I'm going to say, and we were talking about this before the stream, and I'm going to echo this sentiment back here. The theme songs, a lot of the times, more memorable and better than the cartoon.
In some cases, they are several orders of magnitude better than the cartoon.
Yeah. So, and some of them are talky. Some of them just explain the plot, you know, like the G.I. Joe style of just like, hey, this is what's going to happen on this cartoon.
Dog. Okay, so that was the real discovery for me. I knew there were multiple G.I. Joe entries. Like I did rip out all the different Transformers ones from G1 and all the G.I. Joe ones I could find. There's like 7 different ones for G.I. Joe over 4 seasons.
Oh, they become an international team
for like 5 minutes, and then they completely changed. Like literally, there is one where they do an overdub of the song, and they say they're now an international hero.
Yeah,
they do that for 5 episodes, and then they abandon it for a completely new intro.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Anyway, they I don't know if I ever made it that far. That must be season 3 or 4. Stuff.
It is. So it's literally 5 episodes into season 3. They completely changed the intro.
I think season 1, just poking around at it myself recently, I think season 1 itself has at least 2 totally different intros.
3.
Okay.
3 different ones.
Great.
Anyway, this is not going to be an exhaustive recounting of every single one, because who knows, maybe we'll come back to it again another day, but I've gathered a lot of the big hitters, so we'll at least have those to look at.
You should cast a wide net. We should get some like Care Bears in there. And
Yeah.
I have Rainbow Bright on the list. I have Care Bears on the list. I have Gem on the list. Like, it's not just voice cartoons. Yeah.
Truly outrageous.
I have the Mr. T cartoon on here where he hangs out with the gymnasts. Okay, like I am casting as wide a net as I possibly can.
Is Denver on there? Is that
Denver the dinosaur?
Yeah.
Shit, it is now.
Some of these
is
I'm
David
not
the
sure
gnome on there? It is now.
Man.
Some of these I'm not sure if they're 90s or 80s. I think a lot of them are probably 80s.
Some of them bleed into 9091, but
okay.
30 seconds long, roughly, give or take. We can pack a lot in there in a couple hours.
Yeah,
so
right.
actually, most of them are a minute long.
Wow.
The majority of them are a minute long.
Look, they really just exist to sell plastic products.
Totally.
Yeah, that's less animation you have to do every week.
The less time you have to spend making actual show, the better.
Transformers, one of the only ones that is all 30-second ones. They're here to give you the most show they can.
So if this does win and it is now in the voting for patrons, I'm going to say
Benefactor and Mission Control.
If you are going to watch this, watch it live because boy, this sounds like one that could be a YouTube nightmare.
Oh yeah,
for rights holders. But we'll do our best to get this back up there.
I'll say this. Most of these intros that I've been looking for are already on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not pulled down en masse because of various copyright holders. I still think we may run into a few, but a lot of these have just been online in some very shitty form for a very long time.
That should be fun. That should be a good, fun distraction.
It's going to be the most empty calories meal we have ever given you, and I think that's what we need right now.
Well, let's get into some of the stuff we have touched. And one of those things, I was going to do an empty calorie joke, but boy, this game has really already got the internet hate machine on it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's really that hateable.
No. I was going to make a joke, but then I know some people weren't sure if I was joking. Highguard is the game we're talking about. Now
we finally know what it is.
Brad, can you set us up? You did have a Highguard news story here that kind of went into a little bit of how this Highguard phenomenon came to be, this rollout.
For good and for bad.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully there's not much to set up. It's Highguard got the final trailer at the Game Awards last December, and it's a team-based hero online shooter live service thing, and everybody hated it.
From the Apex folks.
And then they didn't say,
from X Respawn people.
A decent number of X Respawn people working on it, and then they didn't say another word about it until it came out 2 days ago.
And so we jumped into it on a live stream. Alex, you've played some of it. Will Smith joined us. It is all right, ready? You guys fill in the gaps if I get this wrong. It is a 3v3 hero-based shooter in which each side, the game starts and you go out and you collect loot. You start from your base. Each side starts from their base. You fortify your base as much as you can by reinforcing walls currently. I don't know if later on they'll have more stuff like that. Sorry, let me back it up so I can really paint the picture here. You pick characters kind of, what would you say it's most akin to? Because you can only pick one of a hero class. I don't know. We never tried to double up.
Per team, I think.
Okay. It really had a very
it's in the neighborhood of an Overwatch kind of thing. It's a hero shooter,
Yeah, choose your hero shooter du jour, right? Each character has a passive, an active ability, and then an ult.
Yeah. It's that.
And then so you pick teams of 3 on your team or on the opposite team. They're picking 3. You pick your base, and that's just the layout of your home base. Then the match starts. Then you basically have some amount of time to secure up your base by reinforcing some walls, because there are going to be 3 points at which the enemy team can damage your base, and you want to try and secure those as much as possible.
I think the fastest way I would describe it is it's a mixture of Capture the Flag and Counter-Strike with a little bit of Borderlands in there.
Borderlands. The weapons?
You're going out
loot.
You're going out literally finding treasure chests with color-coded loot guns and armor in them. And then a flag spawns in the middle of the map, and whoever gets that flag to the other team's base can then invade the base, at which point it becomes literal Counter-Strike. Yes. In the sense that they are planting bombs.
They planted the bomb!
And you either have to defuse the bombs or your base gets blown up and you lose. And that's basically...
that's basically it.
And there's some economic stuff in there. You can mine crystals and buy some of that loot from a vendor and stuff, but it's pretty much that.
So if you defend your base when they're attacking for long enough, basically the whole thing starts again. You go back to the reinforcement phase, then you go back to the looting phase, and then you go back to the capture the flag. What are they called? The sword breaker?
The sword. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Shield breaker.
Shield breaker.
Because each base has a shield around it, and you need that to open the shield to get in there and fight.
It's just a big sword you shove in like a key.
Yeah, I like. Look, like the video game like Hate Grift Industrial Complex is a problem and terrible, and like this game absolutely does not deserve.
It's free to play,
like
by the way.
The extreme shitting on that it's getting. At the same time, I don't think I like it that much.
What are your criticisms of it?
We only played it for 2 hours, although that's certainly enough time to get a feel for it.
There aren't that many modes right now. It's really just this 3v3.
And there also aren't that many heroes to start with.
There's like a handful of things I don't love. I'm trying not to fall too much into the pitfall of just not liking it because I was getting killed constantly.
Sure.
I mean, like, yes, I am 46 years old now, and the time to kill is very fast in this game. Like, it feels... I don't play enough other shooters for, like, there are people out there with, like, nuanced criticisms of, like, the aim feels too floaty and blah, 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 like people that play a lot of these games. I am not that person, but you go down very fast in this game.
And you're playing on PC, as was I.
Yeah,
I played it on PS5.
Okay. Which is not a problem if everything else is balanced around that, but it feels like it's the opposite because it's only 3v3, but these maps are huge and take like forever to run across. The respawn timers are super long.
Yeah.
So you die, and then unless somebody gets you back up, you're waiting like 20 seconds to get back in there again. And
the res feels a little long because you go down so quickly. Maybe it wouldn't feel as long if you could take a little damage, but you do seem to go down quickly.
Yeah, and like obviously teamwork can help with the stuff. People who know the maps and the abilities and can coordinate and work together, and it's all that stuff is going to mitigate just getting worked constantly in this game. But like initial impression was it is very much not a just pick up and play and have fun kind of game.
Yeah, like there's a few too many steps going on the map, I think, for what you described as like just to pick up, jump in with your friends. Hey, let's have a good time. Like you really do have to kind of think about the strategy of how you're approaching both base fortification and the eventual raid on the other base and all that, which is fine. Like I don't necessarily have a problem with any of that. I think it maybe gives it a dimension beyond just being a hero shooter also ran. Like it at least has a novel structure to it.
Yeah.
The given things. The problem is, for me, it's twofold. One, I think all the heroes are impossibly lame looking, just not interesting characters. Some of the abilities are fine, like at least the ones I've experimented with. I'm like, okay, this ult is kind of cool. Like some of these guns are all right, but none of it's really that exciting. And the other thing is that I just don't think the moment-to-moment gameplay is really that thrilling. Like I think it has, like I had a couple, I'm not transcendent, but like a couple of exciting plays happen with people on my team. I definitely got smoked in some pretty interesting ways, as one tends to when shooters like this launch. But I just wasn't really finding that hook of like, oh man, I can't wait to get into my next match. It was more of like this seems to work okay. That was basically the gist of the reaction I had to it.
Yeah, I think they were maybe overselling it when like the little bit of marketing they did put out, I think described it as like a new breed of shooter or something like that, which is like,
You just kind of added some complication to an existing flavor.
Yeah, and like all the factors or all the aspects of this are pretty familiar from other types of games. Like yes, you have combined them into a relatively interesting mishmash, but it's not quite there for me so far.
I think when we played, now granted again, we did have we were coming in for 2 hours. We didn't have everything going on for us, but I think it just felt like it was too hard to get off the back foot in a lot of places. Like once you felt like things were pushing beyond your control, like once they're in the base and they're the
it's very hard to stop. Once
the reinforcing
they get to that
the
point.
walls felt kind of meaningless. Respawning, it felt like you could easily spawn camp, right? They could just pop you. You come back and you go down. You can't really. Things move so quickly in the game, even when you're riding out during the looting phase. It's like, man, should I be thinking about what loot I should get? I'm just going to take every chest I see.
Yeah.
And then there's a currency, this crystal currency you can mine to buy stuff from the vendor. Should I be stopping to mine crystals? Should I just go for the loot?
That's the part I actually hate the most is you have to mine currency to get this stuff while you are on the map. Like that to me, I mean, it feels like taking something from like a, like an RTS or something, like you're having to like get these resources to keep it going. But like, that's not what I want to do in a shooter. I don't want to sit there and mine crystal in the middle of a fucking firefight.
I mean, I think it is just trying to introduce some extra time management and decision making into because the matches are so fast. And like, I think a total round is like 10 minutes or less. So, like, they're basically putting you under some time pressure and saying, hey, you can go find loot. And if you find something good, cool. But here's a backstop in case you don't find anything good. You can choose to mine instead and go buy a couple things to help your loadout.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that can happen too is you basically have armor, and you have I think you start with in the first round 3 armor slots, and so you can pick up and fill up to 3 armor slots. And as you die, if you have picked up an abundance of armor, they'll just automatically respawn your armor slots. If you run out of armor pickups that you have acquired, you can, during the respawn screen, just ask the vendor to trade in crystals and get armor slots, which is, if you have the crystals, is a fast way to get back into the battles, especially if you're inside your base and not out traversing the map.
I just think the looting phase is not that interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, maybe this will evolve as people learn the maps, assuming this maintains an audience, but like, every match we played, it was just the teams staying on their respective half of the map for that whole phase. I encountered
some people during looting.
Yeah, like if there were more incentive to like mix it up and make it more interesting or more dangerous to go out and loot and actually give you something to be aware of besides where's the next treasure chest, it just feels like a formality to me, though.
And I think the problem I had with jumping into a game like this that is way faster paced than I thought it was going to be was I never had time to even explore what kind of weapon I liked. Like, if I saw a weapon, I was immediately like, is it a higher grade than mine? I'm just going to take it. And then I would get to the next chest and be like, I don't even know what this weapon does. I just need to get it quickly and keep looking for the next chest with a better saddle, a helmet, some armor in it. And I think by the time I was pulling the trigger with somebody, I wasn't even sure what I had in my hand. Like, I was like, is this a shotgun? Is this a semi-automatic weapon? Is this a long-range weapon? By the time we were near the end, I feel like we understood a little bit more what was going on. I started to come into some weapons, like, oh, okay, I like this SMG last round. They do a nice thing when they when somebody kills you, you can look at their loadout and be like, man, I got worked by this weapon. What was that thing? Understanding the other character's ability is another big thing in playing these, because sometimes you just come up against a character and be like, what the fuck just happened? What did they do?
I mean, that's part and parcel with every one of these kinds of games.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, she just one-shotted our entire team. How do you do that? Or this person's spawning little tree people. What is happening here? And that's interesting to me, but I think just the breakneck pace of this thing with a 3v3 was too much for me. Now, I'm not saying they need to go back and do this, but I think some of my problems with it, if they were a 3v3v3, could be more interesting to me. If there were a third group of 3 that is also vying for dominance in the map, that is, an independent faction, not a PvE thing, but another player group, 3v3v3, could really change things up. That could change that dynamic when they're in your base feeling like this is really hard to defend. There was a point, I think, Brad, you defused the bomb at the last second. That was a cool moment in our base.
That was okay. That was not bad. Although, frankly, 2 of them were standing right there, and I think just didn't realize I was doing it. So I think that was just a launch day.
Yeah.
People haven't learned this game well. But I had the flip side of that. The last ditch moment of the last match we played on that stream, when our base was down to 5 health, and it was like, if they get this thing again, we're done.
Yeah.
But then I got it, and I got on my mount.
The shield breaker.
Yeah, and like you guys were helping like run cover, and I was able to get on my mount with the thing, and like was about to go run it. It's like trying to run up the end zone or whatever with 5 seconds left. And I saw one of those gates, because it's got mounts, and I was on my mount, and there were those gates you can run through that give you like a huge speed burst.
Yeah.
And I was running right at that gate, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit that gate and sail straight through to their base and like turn the tide of this match, and that's going to be cool. I don't know if I fumbled the controls, or there are also some weird things about when you get shot on your mount.
Yeah,
you can straight up get shot off the mount, but sometimes it also just feels like the mount kind of hitches up.
And there's a cooldown on the mount too.
Yes, but whatever happened, I was like going toward that speed gate, and the mount just stopped. Like literally just stopped moving forward.
Just dead stop.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, again, this is my like game-winning play. in action here, and it was just like being right in front of the finish line and falling right on your face. And I was just like, again, it could have been I might have hit the wrong key that caused, I don't know, but that's just a bad feeling when you're in motion trying to do a thing and all of a sudden you just stop moving and not know why. And I was just like, this may have soured me on this experience.
The mount stuff is not good. Like, I do not enjoy going around on the horse. I thought that whole thing is a little awkwardly delivered.
I really thought with the Apex pedigree, or even the Titanfall, like those games have like pretty incredible movement and like novel movement, like all the parkour and stuff in those games and the sliding.
That's what Respawn did.
Yeah, I really thought I kind of got the sense there was going to be more interesting movement in this game than there seems to be.
Like, it's all very functional. Like, I don't feel like there were too many times where I felt like it was doing things I didn't want it to do control-wise, but...
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and I'll go back a little bit. Concord exists, so I'm not going to call these character designs impossibly lame, but they are just not, like, the whole, like, sort of pseudo-steampunk kind of, like, trade dress of this thing, none of it has much personality or any really that much novelty, I feel like.
Yeah, I would not want to be a character designer working on a live service game these days because I have no idea what the market actually wants at this point. Like, people are so primed to reject games like this that I have no idea what direction to take it. People seem to like Deadlock, though.
Yeah.
But then again, like Valve is leveraging its Valve-ness there.
Sure.
Well, yeah, and with Overwatch, they very much did that with with the Blizzardness of it. Like what does Blizzard do if not like characters you kind of remember? Sometimes even in genres where you don't tend to remember the characters very much.
So I saw some stuff when we were playing it. I got the version, I was going to say bought, but it is free on Steam, which has mostly negative reviews, and a lot of those reviews seem to talk about performance. I didn't have that much trouble running it on my setup, which is a 4080.
Yeah.
It was fine for me.
It was okay there. Now I understand a 4080, I would say at this point is probably still maybe on the higher end given where video cards are.
Yeah.
So, take that with a grain of salt. Not everybody's going to have a 4080, but it seemed to run okay. I do not like, and I'm not saying I'm going to war for this, but I'm not a fan of having to go into my BIOS to turn on secure boot to get this game's.
That's why I downloaded it on PS5.
Yeah, that's just PC games these days, though. That's like everybody's heading that direction. Also, frankly, I'm going to be real. If you're just in Windows, there is no reason not to have it on.
Yeah, I don't like to have to turn something on that I didn't have on, right? Like I don't for anti-cheat stuff, right? Like I don't need that level, a kernel level Well, look, again, I'm not a hardcore warrior for this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, secure boot doesn't actually touch your operating system, really. Like,
it's another conversation.
I'll spare you the technical deep dive, but
now I have little locks on all of my drives.
There's definitely a bunch of fear mongering going on about that out there.
All I know is I just couldn't boot this game up until I went in.
Yeah.
Turned it on, and I couldn't do that in my BIOS until I turned compatibility mode off for older stuff in my BIOS, because I guess some stuff might not be signed, or other operating systems that I might have wanted to dual boot into. Whatever it is, I had to jump through a couple of hoops to get there. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. I think I might go and just leave it on for now and see if I run into any issues with it. I don't know I'm not exactly sure why the internet hate machine has targeted this so much, or like why the ire is so intense on this one. I think it's in like okay free to play game, but it really seems to be setting off again, performance stuff wise aside. I understand if you're on the PC and you've got your setup and it's not running well. And that's why I bring up the secure boot stuff, because sometimes I feel like that also sets people off in ways that
Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty's been doing that for several years now. So I think people are I think the people that were mad about it here are people who don't play those games, because people who play those games have been used to this for a couple of years now. So I think like the legitimately maybe arguably defensible components of this are life service fatigue, Marvel fatigue, and
I think its prominence on the Game Awards, which I don't hold a lot of importance for that stuff, but people have a general expectation, I think, from that show that if you were putting something on there and it is getting a marquee spot, it's probably because they paid a lot of money to be on there, or because Keighley really wants to highlight it as something he thinks is awesome. And whatever you think of Keighley and his opinions about that stuff, that does sound like what at least his intention was here in bringing that trailer to the Game Awards and giving it that marquee spot was, I think this game is awesome. I would love to see you guys do it. Now, apparently that ran contra to their original plan, which was to just shadow drop the game when it was ready and have people kind of discover it that way. And I think they made a mistake going along with this. I don't think it was a malicious thing that Keighley did, but I think he probably inadvertently kind of fucked them on this because he forced them in a position where they had to come up with a trailer that would read well for people on that show. They didn't quite hit it. And so what they ended up with was this kind of confusing presentation of a thing that no one really knew anything about. And then they went back to their original plan of just not saying anything until the game was out. That part I understand, but unfortunately that allows the space to be filled with a lot of people wish casting all the good and the bad they can possibly imagine for that thing in that space.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget which team member it was that had the quote in there that was effectively like, who's going to turn, like, this wasn't in our plan, but who's going to turn down that kind of publicity? Like, I get why they made the decision they made.
Yeah. I don't blame them for making what ultimately proved to probably not be a beneficial decision for them.
Also, if they had stuck to the original plan and just dropped this out of nowhere with no announcement, like, I don't think the game would necessarily be faring much better. Like, I don't think it would absolutely would not be in the middle of this, like, rage storm or whatever it is.
No.
But I don't think the game itself on its merits would be received much differently than it is now.
And they might not have had the eyeballs on it, right?
Yeah.
It might have.
I do think it's a truly double-edged sword. Like, I do think that there was a good reason for them to decide to do this. Unfortunately, I just don't think it actually benefited them.
I mean, I think I've referenced this a couple weeks ago. The Apex rollout was very similar to what it sounds like their plan originally was for this. The difference there was that Apex was actually being put out by Respawn, not by Respawn veterans. Like, they had they had EA marketing money, that's a separate thing, but B, they just had the studio pedigree, It's like, this is the studio that put out Titanfall, even though, like, again, clearly a lot of these people worked on Titanfall and Apex Legends. Like, still, there's just like, I don't know, there's just kind of an institutional, like, prestige or swagger when you're the actual studio. There's like, like I've said,
you're going to pay attention.
Right. Like I was willing to fly to LA not knowing what game I was going to see because it was Respawn. And I think if they had stuck to that plan, they would have had a harder time. Game aside, quality of game aside, like, they still would have had a harder time getting noticed than that game did. And also, that was 7 years ago.
I was just going to say, I think we were even, it's only 7 years ago, or oh my gosh, it's 7 years ago. But I think there was a little bit more of a monoculture, a little bit more of a, hey, what are we all playing? Apex. The field for that stuff wasn't as crowded yet, and it was able to carve a bit of a more novel path. This one is coming out in a much more crowded market, especially people's attentions. Most of the big outlets are disbanded or, dispersed, right, in terms of where people are getting their opinions from, where people are watching stuff versus 7 years ago. So I think they're coming out in a very different atmosphere. And even now we've seen major publishers put out games that, look at Concord, right? That just don't last, that just don't penetrate. I mean,
that's a special case. Let's be real.
It's a special case, but
you're right. There's lots of these kinds of games that pop up for a minute and then sort of fade out because they just, they don't have the pedigree behind them, or they just aren't interesting enough to stand out. And I think, again, in this current marketplace, this stuff feels a little old hat. Like, I'm not saying they don't have anything novel to this game, but, like, just making a free-to-play hero shooter that has, like, a hook that's a little different than some of these other ones just doesn't feel like the thing that's going to get you noticed in 2026.
Like, I wonder if you went back, is it Battle Aces? That's the ex-StarCraft
That's
folks,
the one that
right?
didn't come out, yeah.
I wonder if you went back and went to them and were like, would you have wanted the tail end slot before you went live? And they had early access stuff and they had a lot of play tests, but would you have wanted that? I wonder if they'd be like, hell yeah, of course. Even if it turns out that this is a smaller scale game, people might not understand it's not a full RTS, because they were doing a different thing, right? They were not doing, and it might have been very confusing. People will come to and be like, this is just the PvP part. This isn't RTS. I wonder if they would still be like, yes, we would have wanted the eyeballs on us or not. I think it's a really hard one to answer, until you're in it.
Yeah.
I just as I think it's going to be very hard to know where this game goes from here. This could continue to churn and do well, or it could.
I mean, the way they're talking, it sounds like they have a pretty intricate roadmap for at least, probably the next several months of content. Like, they know what they want to do. They have, like, hero and map drops and other, I think there's other gameplay modes that are potentially coming down the road. So, like, they have a plan. Like, they know what they're going to put out, assuming they are able to sustain it. I just hope that is some stuff that, like, manages to not only keep the existing audience, but manages to pull in some new people. Because right now, based on what I've played and what's there at launch, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I might check in on this again, but I don't really feel anything toward it.
Yeah, it would really depend on what they did to it, but I think it would take kind of a lot. I didn't think to look at their roadmap before this, but I've got it in front of me
I'm
now.
not sure they've really done a major job of hyping that up yet, but yeah.
I think I'll give them one shout out. The one idea from this that I thought was like truly novel is that not only do you pick your character at the beginning of the match, you also pick your base.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have a system where they can just bolt the bases onto the existing maps, from what I can tell. So you can pick what your base layout is going to be ahead of time as if it's like a fighting game character, which is kind of neat. I'm looking at the roadmap because I would want to know. I don't see anything about like bigger player counts or anything. Because I feel like
I think it seems tuned for 3v3.
Like, I guess so. I just the maps still feel just a tad bit big for that player count to me. Like a 5v5 might feel a little more active. I don't know.
And so some of the response I saw from them was that they don't need to do ridiculous numbers because they're a smaller team to maintain. Also, I think they said 3v3 doesn't require as many players to get a match going, right?
Sure.
Like to match up with 3v3 doesn't require
that is easier.
Yeah, as many as you would need in a 5v5 or 3v3v3.
It's cool. It's cool to hear that just like the online infrastructure has now become, I don't know, democratized or whatever enough that small teams can do stuff like this now. Like
and we got in.
They're not taking on. I have no idea what their like monthly burn rate on servers is or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like it's costing them millions of dollars a month to run this from the sound of things, and it's cool that we've at least gotten to that point.
Like there was a little bit of a queue. I personally had just like a little bit of an issue getting into the tutorial, but then after a restart, it was fine. And after we started going, we didn't get bounced, at least in our 2 hours of playing. I don't know if other people have, but the servers seem to have held up for our limited session.
Yeah, they're at number 31 today on the Steam charts for total players. So that's not nothing, but it's it's down from launch day, of course.
Yeah.
So really, just we'll see.
We'll see
how they do over time.
Yeah, I think for me, long shot is of my time played with it. It's a little too fast paced for me for what I'm getting out of it. The learning curve just seemed a little too high out of the gate for me. A little too. I think I said this, and I'll just say it again. Maybe a little too sweaty for my level of being like Apex can have a slower cadence in its matches. It's just going back to I spent a lot of time in Apex. Felt like you could spend a lot of time. It was a little more of that battle royale of hey, we're gonna loot, we're gonna do this. This is much faster, and especially once shit pops off, it's basically the last. It becomes the last minute and a half of a battle royale, right? Very quickly, where you're just in an enclosed space. And you got to get shit done, or otherwise the game's going to end. And I was never good. I was never good at those moments. I am panicky at those moments. And I think the other thing, like you mentioned, Brad, for me, I just think those respawn times and where you can respawn back at your base during the looting phase and during the some of the because the attack phase you can spawn closer, just felt like I was out of the game too long for how quick they were. The matches were going.
A lot of the knobs like that feel like they could have used a little more tweaking, but then they didn't do like a big open beta or whatever. Like they were planning to keep this quiet until launch, basically. So like I'm sure they had some play testing, but maybe more would have helped.
Yeah. Well, and again, let's see what this goes. That is Highguard, free to play. It's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. We'll see where things go. Curious what the player base does now. I really, it's such a weird time now where it's not always about how much it costs to get into the game. It's can you pull people away from their other games, right? You can do a free to play, you can make it free, but are people going to choose to spend time with your game when there are so many other options out there. I think that's a really hard one in the market today.
Yeah.
Clearly a hard one in the market today. Let's take a break. Let's come back and we'll talk about some other things. Brad, you finished Silent Hill F?
Did I?
Did you?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yes, I saw the first ending and rolled credits, but it really just left me with like more questions than answers, I think.
Let's talk about it when we come back right after this. All right, we are back. And before we get into Silent Hill F stuff, I'm going to push Silent Hill F to the back for a second here. Another game I want to talk about first, which is TR49.
Yeah, at one time last week, 6 months ago, I had thought to myself I would try that for this week, and then I completely forgot it existed.
Understandable.
As things have been a bit
hectic,
fraught.
Yes, over the last few days. But anyway, that game looks rad.
So I think the most shorthand to give it is it's a root tree like.
Okay.
It probably should paint a picture of the main loop here, right?
It seems like it's like Root Trees meets Cryptonomicon, from what I can tell.
So you're at
kind of my shit.
So you're at basically this computer, which is almost like a code breaking machine, right? But the premise is this computer has gobbled up information, almost like an AI has gobbled up all of this literature and articles and all of this stuff like that.
Sounds right.
I think we should say up front, World War II era computer. Like this is extremely like 1940s technology,
but like fantasy version, right?
Yeah.
This is a fantasy machine, and basically you have a 4-character reference, or sorry, the way this 4-character input, 2 letters and 2 numbers to move around from the indexes in this machine. So the root tree like part comes from trying to break the code for what the next article might be. Maybe it's QL49, maybe it is TR49. So you're trying to figure out how to jump around and start identifying these articles and books and pieces of media that are inside this machine. I haven't played a ton of it, but it definitely is a game you have to read and pay attention. They have patched it recently to take away some of the hint system if you want to walk some of that back. Otherwise, I think it does try to help you out if you're getting a little lost in the weeds, and there are plenty of weeds, it seems like. But it's a thing like, hey, maybe the number is a year, maybe the letters are author names or the publication names, and you're trying to figure it out. So if, for example, if one of the number portion, like I said, on TR49 might be a year for something, the text in it, root tree style, for an example, might be like, oh, the author of this passed away in 1946, and this was published 3 years after their death. And then you'd be like, 49, got it. And that's how you're like cracking the code to be like, I've got this, just for an example. And you play a character who is interfacing with another character, at least where I am very, 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 very early on in the game. And you're kind of going back and forth being like, what the fuck am I doing here? And that character's like, you're trying to label these articles and figure this stuff out and just kind of explore more and more what this machine and what this world is like. I've enjoyed it so far. It is a game I need to sit down and pay attention to. It is not a game that I'm doing like I'm doing on my Silent Hill New Game Plus, where I'm just kind of thinking about La La Land and the state of the world while moving a character around. This is the game where I have to read and pay attention to the text on the screen, because I was like, oh, maybe this will be a fun one to stream. And then I was like,
might be a little tough.
I think this is going to be one where I'm just sitting here in silence reading this stuff. Pretty good note-taking in the game. A lot of good click on a thing, it goes right in your notes for reference. Pretty good navigation that way. I'm playing on the PC, so I can just type in the characters I want to jump to into the machine, which I always appreciate. My keyboard works like the interface on the machine. Otherwise, I think this is totally fine with a controller, or I can see the interface when the machine come up, which has a ring for you to select letters and stuff like that. I never use it because I'm just typing stuff in. It's neat. Okay. And the in-universe stuff is also persists in the menus. So like if you want to get to the menu, you can type in a code for that. Or if you want to go to save, there's like codes for that, which I always think is very cool. Or you could just hit escape and go to the menu. if you want to do that. TR49, it's $7. I think it is very cool. I'm going to keep picking away at it. I don't know how long it is. Like I said, I have not played much of it really at all, just enough to get a sense of what the gameplay and stuff is. Because it is one of those games, again, where if you've got something else on your near horizon, clear your schedule, because you're going to have to sit and do some actual paying attention and not just try to push through.
Oh.
Yes?
I was about to ask if it was PC only, but it is out on iOS.
Yeah, I think...
this might be a good iPad game.
I think it's also $7. Is it also $7 on iOS?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's also at least in the release stuff I saw for it, Steam Deck compatible. So if you want to play it on there, it could be a good one. TR49. Trying to think. Oh, Absolum.
Yeah.
I jumped
I'm still
back
playing that.
I played with my son. We jumped in. We had some sick runs. And we beat the King of the Underking. Yeah, we did it. Took us a couple of runs to do it, but eventually we pushed through. And the time we pushed through, we had a great run. We made it into the tower. We're like, damn, are we gonna finish this? And then we kind of ate shit. But we had a great run on it, and it felt amazing. We got that last character unlocked. We were doing really well. I think that game is pretty fun. A lot of fun to play with my son, and just kind of watch the synergizing of, like, we just hit this thing where somebody was spawning. It was like when I did a finisher, it spawned like all these daggers on the ground. And then he had a thing that would just shoot multiply the daggers. So I would finish somebody, daggers would be on the ground, and he would just start launching daggers at everybody. It was pretty great. That game rocks. Absolum.
Yeah.
Keep going. We'll probably finish that. Probably finish that one.
I need to find somebody to play that with.
I'll play more with you. It's great.
All right.
That was a very cool game. I had put Seance of Blake Manor a bit on the back burner for now. I did not touch Hack and Climb, but
Hack and Climb.
Yeah, Hack and Climb. But should we talk about
been a month ago?
Silent Hill F?
Sure. I finished it last night.
First ending.
Let's do our spoiler warnings here. This is our Silent Hill F zone. You're in the F zone. We're going to talk about spoilers for Silent Hill F.
Spoilers up through the first time you beat the game and see credits.
Sure.
Although, how much? Okay, yes, there are things to spoil.
There are some things to spoil here.
Do you get anywhere close to a complete picture of what's going on? Absolutely not.
So that is our spoiler warning. Let's jump into it. How much did you have left by the time you picked it up again? Because from the last time you talked about it on
from last week or from like December?
Oh no, from last week.
Oh,
you were in Hinako's house.
Yes, that's right. I had just gotten to her house when I left off last week, so I did the whole, which is like pretty long sequence, kind of like the multiple versions of the house that you have to keep cycling through.
A couple of puzzles in there
was pretty interesting. And then there's like more Dark Shrine puzzle stuff with the seals, with the mural puzzle on the wall and stuff.
Oh yeah, who's looking at whom, or
and then there's like kind of a quite protracted sequence of shifting between realities at the end, in the end game.
I don't know if I even remember that.
I mean, you're in the Dark Shrine and then you're back in the quote real world, although is anything actually real in that game? Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
And then you're back in the Dark Shrine again, and which Hinako are you?
Oh yes,
back and forth.
Yes, right, yes.
Are you fighting yourself? Seems like that is the case.
What'd you think?
I'm definitely intrigued by where it ended up, if not entirely satisfied, I think. But I guess that's the whole point.
It is.
What do you think's going on there?
I mean, I'm trying to draw a line between what I interpreted to be happening, and then of course I immediately went to Google because I did start a new game last night, but I only played like 10 minutes because it was late. So I haven't really seen, although I have seen one major new intro cutscene, which already started filling in some gaps. But the point is, I went to Google and typed Silent Hill F first ending to see what I found, and inevitably found people dropping little details about subsequent runs. So, like, for example, I saw some, some of the arranged marriage stuff being talked about, which is, like, not totally oblique in that first new cutscene. Like, they don't come out and say Like, again, we're just like spoiling stuff here. They don't come out and say it in the first new cutscene you get in the first New Game Plus run. But
is it the argument at
it's the argument where the dad is like, the mom is like, well, what about what Hinako wants? And he's like, I don't care. She's going to help me pay off this debt.
That's right. Yeah. That's not in the first game?
I don't think so. No, because when I tried to skip it, it gave me the skip new cutscene prompt.
Well, I just mean the kind of, not even the explicit cutscene, the content of the cutscene. Is it known in the first playthrough?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I think that's a new cutscene. Pretty sure.
Because they do get there is the one at the dinner table, right? Where he throws the machete or something.
It might be the dialogue is different. And also, I don't remember if you get the little first-person cutscene of you talking to your doll.
I don't think you do.
I think that's new, too, because she also talks about, like, in the doll voice, like, don't you want to get married? And, like, no. Like, I mean, they're definitely hinting at that stuff pretty heavily beyond the stuff I read on the internet, but...
Well, I guess my biggest question for you, the one that I had lingering the most, the one that actually pushed me into a New Game Plus is... What is up with the pills on the ground and them talking about that stuff at the end? Are they? I don't think they're even talking about Hinako. I think they're talking about her sister or
the pills. No, it's definitely her.
Is it definitely her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. That's where I'm a little mixed on how this first run plays out. Is that I feel like they could maybe foreshadow a little more where it ends up in a way that would make it feel a little bit less out of left field. Like. I mean, there's two things with the pills in particular. Mm-hmm. Number one, I think the stuff with the pills and her like being kind of out of her mind and on drugs is partially predicated on the idea that you would have been using those pills as power-ups the whole game.
Uh-huh.
And I basically never used them past the first hour of the game.
But you did take some.
A few, yes.
Yeah. Because there is, like, I don't know if you looked at the ending.
I actually was surprised. I'm surprised they straight up just show you how many endings there are and show you basically what to do to get all of them.
I appreciate it.
I don't mind it. It's just, I figured that stuff would be more hidden. But
so I do wonder if you never use them, would you trigger some other ending?
I doubt it on your first run. I'm guessing there was just enough straight up kind of authorship there that they wanted you to see the first ending as the first ending. But A, it was a little weird because, again, I hadn't been using the pills at all. B, I gather that those pills actually tie into some broader Silent Hill lore stuff. Have you ever heard the phrase White Claudia?
I've heard the phrase. I don't know what it actually means.
Bros, the dispenser down the street got that White Claudia in. Like, it's straight up that. Like, it's my understanding is that it's full on some, like, herbal...
Like
hallucinogenic drug type stuff carried over from other Silent Hill games is my understanding. And, like, I could be blowing this out of proportion, but I get the sense that stuff is supposed to tie into these pills as well, and like some of the documents you find allude to that. So the point is, I think there is like broader franchise stuff that's supposed to be supporting this out of her mind on drugs, psychotic break business that I didn't pick up on. And again, like that cutscene at the end with the police report stuff just feels so out of nowhere.
I need to watch that again, or maybe I'll watch it once I see what happens at this ending.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, you tell me, well, not you guys, I don't think you can tell me, but somebody listening to this probably can. Like, I don't know if this is like some of the, like the Ryukishi 07 contribution to the game, because he's a big visual novel author or writer. Like, is this more of a visual novel thing? Is this something you would see more commonly in that genre of major story beats that you kind of don't see coming, only getting dropped at the very end and then demanding a subsequent playthrough? Because that's how it feels here. Like, it very much feels like we are just going to hit you with some shit and with 5 minutes to go, and then you're going to have to do New Game Plus because you're going to desperately want to know more.
I can't answer your visual novel question, but I did have a sense, and this is documented, so I could be, if I'm wrong, people can just be like, you never said this. I did think we talked about like Shu drugging you in some weird ways during the first playthrough.
Talking about that, and but this might be the problem with putting it down for like over a month and coming back to it. I don't remember that stuff, but
it's also possible we were streaming, so we were just doing jokes, right? Being like, hey, take your pills, pillhead, you know, like that kind of thing.
But I saw people saying that again in discussion around the ending. I saw people saying like, oh man, I don't trust Shu at all after this first ending.
Yeah, and I'm in my second one, and I'm you know, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I'm still shoulder shrug on a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm past Shu's house now.
I mean, I'm fine with some stuff being all in her head, like what is real, what is not, but like, it kind of seems like the entire game was in her head. Like, I don't think any of
this is what drove me to the New Game Plus.
I mean, yeah, like it seems like like some of the deaths of characters that are depicted seem like they may have actually happened in the real world. Obviously, like if her parents were murdered, if she killed her parents, like she obviously was not a 20-foot bridal monster in the real world when she did it, but maybe that actually was depicting her parents dying. But you know what I mean? Like, none of the stuff in the town with the fog creeping in feels like it actually happened. Like that's like the Dark Shrine stuff clearly was in some other metaphysical state of being, but it seems like so was the quote unquote real world stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this, and I just want to back up for a second and say I'm at Shu's house. So if people are like, you should know by now, because some weird shit's happening at Shu's house in the New Game Plus, so maybe that will inform where I feel Shu lands. I do feel like you're now touching on some of the broader Silent Hill stuff of what is real, what is imagined when the fog rolls in.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
And some of this is informed by, again, reading straight up on the Silent Hill subreddit, because again, I don't have the perspective from the other games, and those people do. But that's what I was getting, was that people were like, "Oh, there's a pretty clear split of some of this stuff is real and some is not," but this game feels like it goes completely into all the way as far as it can into the none of this is actually happening as depicted.
So the things that would happen, or at least from the remake I made when I made that remake, that it played.
Good job.
Thank you. He would flip back and forth between realms in the remake, but there was all shit going down in both either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like this one where you're like, oh, there's like weird demon shit in the real world happening too. I don't know what's going on with this fungus in the Shadow Realm and what's happening, but there's also the Temple Realm or the Dreamscape Realm where she's obviously where the mutilations are happening and all. Dark
Shrine is how you see people referring to that. Okay. I don't know if that's official or not.
So I do. Again, it's hard for me to say because when we were streaming and playing it, I wasn't absorbing as much of the lore, and I certainly wasn't picking up as much as I am now. I'm just getting a ton of historical stuff on the area now that is filling in a lot of the religion and the fox lore and the water dragon lore and all of that stuff that is maybe not in the first playthrough. I'm not sure. I can't
There's like
say.
Touches of it.
Okay, this is like
Here
pretty explicit. There's a lot of journal entries that are getting filled in with like what this town has grown up to be kind of religiously or culturally. And I assume some of that is going to play into Hinako's understanding of, or like what has tempered her or gotten in her head. Like, why is she imagining the foxes? Like, what is going on here? Or if she's imagining it at all, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I started to suspect pretty early on when I looked at the trophies, and there's a trophy for what are the different lines of documents? There's like a physician's notes series of documents, where he's like treating people with mysterious illnesses. There's the and like
butting up against like traditional medicine.
There's like the strict mother series of documents, which is like all written from a mother to her son about like, I am being hard on you now, but you have noble blood.
You'll realize your importance one day, and like I started to suspect that you could, because there's a trophy for getting all of each one of those sets of documents, that you wouldn't be able to do that in the first playthrough. And it seems like that is the case, because I found every I sure as hell was thorough and did not get any of those trophies. So my assumption is they only want to tease you with all those things on the first run, and they really want you to do the extra playthroughs to get the full picture of each of those. Yeah, so the confusing thing for me is like I might just be picking up both at this point, stuff from a New Game Plus and stuff from the original game because I blew by it the first time. But like I said, in New Game Plus, I dropped the combat down to easy. It takes like 3 hits to take out one of those mannequins.
Interesting. I took the opposite tack of bumping both difficulties up to max on my second run.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to see the story stuff.
Got to get those trophies.
I just wanted to see the story stuff. Is it one of those games where you could just switch it to hard at the last minute and then
I doubt it.
On the last boss?
I don't think you can.
My assumption in most of those games is that it breaks the trophy if you change it at any point. But I was like, I mean, I'm not. This was more a result of cashing in all those items and leveling up constantly. Not I'm amazing at the game, but I was like kind of cruising through the last 2-3 hours. So like I don't think it'll be a problem, especially as I saw you can get more Omamori slots on a subsequent run than you can in your first run, so you can equip even more of those modifiers.
My biggest problem now on the easier mode is that I've got like 13 first aid kits. It's like, I just don't use any of the healing items.
More than you will ever need.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have.
Well, it just leaves no inventory room for anything else.
Yeah.
But that stuff aside, I'm just trying to see what's new. I am not sure after I finish this New Game Plus if I will do any of the other endings. I'm more curious. I might watch 1 or 2, or I really have to look up and see how much different it would be in the cutscenes. I suspect this first New Game Plus, I'm getting a lot of different cutscenes, but I can't imagine how they would know what New Game Plus run you're going for immediately to give you even different cutscenes in subsequent runs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
they know I'm in a New Game Plus. Will they know I'm in a New Game Plus Plus and give me more cutscenes or not?
My guess is it's based on which endings you've seen. There might be a combination of both. There might be a whole matrix of what do we show you based on A, how many runs have you done, B, which endings do you have unlocked?
Maybe, because I don't know if you saw when you're looking at it, the UFO one, right? I don't think I've heard a radio broadcast.
I found several radios, but none of them
were UFO, right?
None of them read as like UFO related.
No, they're kind of like creepy, like Hinako.
Yeah.
Well, it might be one of those things where like that doesn't start happening until you've done the first game.
I think that is possible. Also, like some of those runs seem mutually exclusive.
Yes,
like you have to do both a dirty sword and a clean sword run.
Yeah. I'm going for my clean sword run. Because I was hoping if I did a New Game Plus, I don't know this, but I was hoping maybe I could bring that thing in. And that'd be a cool weapon to have. I don't know. It is taking me a little bit longer than I would like because I just don't want to miss a step in the sword run that locks me out of that ending after all this work, right? After being like,
is it a lot of work?
I mean, it's not a lot of work, but I'm using a guide, so I just need to make sure, like, hey, if you're up to this portion of the story, don't forget to go check out this item, go grab this item, bring it back here. It's like a 6 or 7 step quest you need to do throughout the game to do these things. And I almost thought I locked myself out of one because of the way the map locks you out of areas, but they said there's one more, a guide says, or the internet says there's one more chance to go grab it before...
Yeah, I might have to look up an ending guide before I play more then.
Yeah, so again, that's the thing I want to see is like I'm enjoying seeing the new cutscenes, but if the new cutscenes go away, then I might just watch the ending for other stuff.
Yeah, I'm maybe I'm just not observant enough. I don't think I picked up on the fact that Hinako was how do I put this, like the fulcrum of the whole thing, or clear she's the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole situation that seems to be coming to light with, again, what I presume to be an arranged marriage and a psychotic break, like that stuff was not super telegraphed until the very, very end in a way that really caught me off guard.
Like what amount of this is a constructed reality purely based off of Hinako?
Or just like, well, I mean, like the family strife was clear for a while, especially if you read the notebook, like the abusive father, subservient mother, that type of stuff.
You get that boss fight
was clear. Yeah, all that stuff was clear. It's specifically like the marriage, like that's the marriage and the like she went nuts and killed everybody at her wedding stuff. Is extremely out of left field. I mean,
wait, you're making that up, or is that a thing that you think happened? Did she kill everybody at her wedding?
That's the post credits thing.
Wait, is that what they're saying, that she killed everyone at the wedding? I have to go watch it again. I'm like,
oh my god, yeah.
Okay, and it's the pills on the floor, and they're like,
post credits is the slow like camera crawl over wet pavement with pills and a police scene, like a crime scene. And all the police back and forth on the radio.
Yeah. This is why I think this is why I thought it was the sister, because I thought the sister had gotten married, and I thought they were talking about her.
No, I think it's Hinako.
Okay.
And again, maybe some of this, I can't tell you that I would have 100% known that if I hadn't done a little bit of reading afterwards.
Okay.
But especially with that first cutscene on the second playthrough, like I said, it makes it pretty clear that
we got a red wedding situation here for Hinako.
Well, but actually, it's because of the pills. I'm sorry. It's the pills stuff in that little post-credit scene that makes it very clear. Is because they find a bunch of those pills at the scene.
Yeah, I mean that's
full on.
That's in the screen they have, right?
And they're full on. Like, suspect was observed taking these pills,
right?
And then fucking killed everybody.
Okay.
And like, you've been taking the pills the whole game, and like there's that sequence at the end with the pills piling up everywhere in the hallway and stuff. So it seemed
a lot of pills.
It seemed pretty clearly like what they were going for there was that it was her.
But why is this is the thing I wanted to find out. Why is Shu feeding you these pills?
Is he though? That's the thing I don't like.
He does in the beginning. He is the pharmacist's son.
Oh, right. He's got the whole healer herbal medicine thing. Right.
He's the one that gives it to you in the beginning, and it's just like, hey.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff I've forgotten from having started this 6 weeks ago.
Partner, what's up, partner?
Yep.
I hit some stuff in this new game plus that I'm curious to see again at Shu's house to see where this goes. That I think is very different now.
Okay.
Do you remember how far that is?
Shu's house?
Yeah.
Pretty far. It's pretty far.
Is it from the end or?
It's you go from Shu's house straight to her house, and then again there's quite a bit after
in
you
the
get to
house.
her house, but that's it. That's the end of the game.
Okay. Like I said, I think now that I'm playing it again, I don't think if the puzzles are the same. I also knocked the puzzle difficulty down, and it is interesting how that manifests.
Yeah, I've gone and looked at a couple of guides to see what the differences are, and they are like kind of totally different puzzles. I mean, like similar in form, but like
just fewer steps.
Content is way simplified.
Yeah, so like that one where there's the puzzle box on your desk in school. Remember that? You only have to get like one character or two characters on that box. So I knocked that down too. So I'm just trying to get through this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm like very intrigued by the game. I don't like I want to keep playing it. It's a pretty big lift though, or pretty big ask, I feel like, to give you this ending that is like sort of bowls you over and wants you or leaves you wanting more. And then be like, hey, go get the other 5 endings to find out the full story.
Yeah, well, they did trim some out.
I know they've simplified it and streamlined it some, but that just feels like I'm like, okay, let me put this a different way. It might be the difference between, do I commit to going and getting all these other endings because I do really want to know what the full story is, or do I just go watch them all on YouTube? And that's not a desirable option, knowing that like the entire playthrough of each subsequent run has a bunch of new stuff in it. You'd have to watch the whole playthrough and then you might as well play it. So I'd rather see it all in context, but also like it just kind of feels like a lot to finish the game and have a ton of unanswered questions and then be like, well, time to just play this game again several times for the next month and nothing else. You know what I mean? Like it kind of feels like a lot.
Definitely not my ideal. Kind of glad I'm in it in January now before I don't have too much on my like dying to play list, so it does fill up, and as opposed to some of the other things maybe we talked about, it is very much a thing I can just pick up the guide, and since I'm on sleepwalk mode in terms of the combat,
just give me the story mode.
Like, maybe I'll change my tune if I get into a run and see how quickly it goes. I mean, some of that is just you learn the game and you know what you're doing and you can just go through it faster for basic like level design reasons.
Totally.
And stuff.
You've seen the enemies, you know what this whole thing is, you know where you're going, you know what you want to skip or pick up.
But it's kind of the difference to me between, again, knowing that it had this structure between getting a relatively satisfying ending and then being like, oh, like I could get some interesting extra context if I do the extra endings, as opposed to just like, what the fuck was that? What just happened? Like all of this has just been turned on its head in the last 5 minutes. I need to know more because I don't feel like I got everything, but now I have to go do all this extra stuff.
You're 100% right. It is, it is the, do you want the true ending versus like, do you want an ending?
Yes, that's kind of, yes. It really, the end of this first run really just feels almost like the midpoint of the story.
Silent Hill F. What do you think overall? Just like kind of, like playing through aside from story.
I liked it a lot overall.
Okay.
Like some of the combat could be better. Camera can get pretty bad in some situations. Like this is a little bit of busy work running back and forth to save points, trying to cash all those items in and stuff. Like mechanically, there are some things that could be better.
Does it make you want to go play that remake, the 2 remake?
Eventually, but especially now seeing all these extra runs in front of me on this game to feel like I got what I want. Not for a while, probably.
Okay, I don't remember that being as big an issue in 2, but
it's more just, I think by the time I'm done with this, I might
need a break.
Need a break from Silent Hill for a while.
Look, if you want a low impact Silent Hill like experience, there's a film you can watch, and it's not any of the Silent Hill movies. Go watch Lost Highway. Spiritually, there's some distinct similarities between what the Lost Highway is angling at and what a lot of Silent Hill is.
Interesting. I did not know that. But also, we're go on.
I would say it's more just like the whole like tortured mind thing and sort of like reliving the worst things you've ever done type stuff. Like I want to say the Silent Hill makers said they specifically cited that movie as an influence when they were building the original Silent Hill.
Okay. But also, we're a month out from the next Resident Evil as well. Like it's kind of a lot of, although boy, do those 2 franchises could not feel more different now?
Oh, they diverged a long time ago, but like that path has only gotten further between themselves.
Like, what if they come back? What if they're
well, like the RE games, like the RE games are just so tangible and straightforward and blatant about what they're doing.
They're more like blockbusters now. That's what they are intended to be.
But there was never any mystery about what was going on, except for like the Wesker turn or something like that. Like Resident Evil from the beginning has been very much like action movie. What you see is what you get. There's no double reality stuff, or like it's all in Jill Valentine's head.
I mean, look, I think Resident Evil feels a little more soap opera, right? It has been straightforward and explicit, but it's been dumb as hell between T-virus and bioweapons.
But that's what I mean. It's all just like kind of mainstream junk food.
Though I think I think Village and 7 were like a little bit more play to see what's going on here.
Yeah, I guess aren't there some psychological visions in 7 now that I think about it?
It's like you're a little bit more like, what the fuck am I doing here?
That's fair.
Yeah. A little bit more than the kind of Leon putting down zombies. But yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, that's the end of February. But Silent Hill F, I think that's going to close the book, at least on playthrough 1 for now.
I would love to hear where you end up with future endings.
Yeah, I probably, on here, unless you've made it through your second ending, won't do a big spoiler, but I will come back and report on whether it fills in the gaps in a satisfying way.
Okay.
Fair. Because I'm not sure how much longer I actually have.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you're almost Shoe's house, you're actually kind of getting into the end game.
Yeah, I did the middle school. I'm at Shoe's house.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Did you just get there? I think that's where all the 3 rituals start, which is quite a bit.
So that's the thing is like I said before, I think it is skipping some of that stuff.
Okay, maybe it is streamlined. Okay, I should probably just
I don't know. I'm in the zone now where the sorry, what'd you call it? Not Dark Tower.
Dark Shrine.
Dark Shrine stuff where I can do the invisible walls and all of those things. So I'm not exactly sure where it's jumping around, but like I said, last podcast episode, I just started Dark Shrine with the fox arm and the face and the stuff. So they just skipped doing all those rituals.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I should just get in there. The last thing I was going to say is like, do I turn right around and pick up a New Game Plus tonight, or do I play something else for a while and come back to this? I'm not sure, but maybe I should just check it out, because maybe it does move faster than I'm giving it credit for.
Yeah, it seems to. Like I said, but I'm playing on breezy mode, so it's fairly it's that's not impeding me. I can just run past people. Also, I've got maxed out stamina now and maxed out slots, so it's a lot of running. That's Silent Hill F. We're gonna take another break here, unless we got anything else.
Nope.
All right, we're gonna take another break here. We're gonna come back and we're gonna hit the news. So stick around. Okay, we are back with the news. We have some news to talk about here. We've got Xbox had its developer direct. There's some Battlefield news, some news coming out about Dispatch. But before we get to that, of course, there's always news when Grand Theft Auto is involved. Brad Shoemaker, Alex Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing you know about Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar. What do they hate the most?
Leaks.
Alex, how do you avoid
kind?
How can one avoid leaks in today's digital age?
By never putting out anything ever.
I feel like
It's the only way to be sure.
I feel like you're halfway there.
Like you have to destroy the game you made so no one can leak it.
Can't leak the game if we never put it out.
That's right. Well, Rockstar's not too far off. Apparently, they're saying that if I'm getting this right, they're basically saying like, well, if we don't put out a physical disc, then people at the factories can't leak it. You can't start selling it early. No more leaks.
Yeah. So this information is coming from a Polish site called ppe.pl. There is an insider they have cited for a variety of other leaks around retail for other games that have basically borne out to be correct. So Grashdari, I believe, is the name. But
yeah, and in fact, I think if I'm reading this right, it seems like they have actually come out and said this person works in physical distribution in some capacity.
In some capacity, but I mean, that could be any number of different facets of the industry. But so what they have said is that as of right now, there are no plans to have a physical version of Grand Theft Auto 6 at the game's launch. Whether that means there will be one coming along later, or if they are completely eschewing the idea of doing physical versions of GTA 6, which I would find difficult to believe that last one. Whatever the case, they are potentially getting around this game being leaked early thing by just not having discs anyone can rip.
And spoilers, right? Like I guess that probably counts in leaks and spoilers at this point. Who's going to get it a week early, stream the whole game, and basically upset the apple cart for Rockstar in terms of their release day, right?
Yeah, well, I guess if this is correct, I guess that's a sign that you don't have to like sign into a server to play the single player in this game.
Oh, because they could just have done it there.
Yeah, because if that were the case, I mean, like, I don't think even they could get away with whatever they want, probably, but even they would take a bunch of shit if they locked the single-player mode up entirely behind an online server.
It's an interesting angle. I hadn't thought of that. I mean, people do data mine discs, so I don't know if they're that, the lead time on this stuff is probably still like a month or so, right? To get packaging, printing, get stuff in the distribution channel, in the stores a couple of weeks early.
It used to be longer. I don't know how it is these days, but it used to be longer. But I mean, in the end, what we're talking about here is, do they care enough about physical to have it there day and date for everyone? And I think there has never been a greater sign than this one that publishers just don't give a fuck about physical at this point. Like, they'll do it because there is a certain obligatory notion, especially at like older companies, that you should have a physical version. But that has never meant less. And if Grand Theft Auto is out there and saying, look, we'll get around to it, that's probably the last canary you need to die in the coal mine before you say our days are numbered here.
Yeah, like that's my question here is this a sign of how everything is going, or is this Rockstar can get away with this? Like Rockstar knows people will show back up and buy the physical. Rockstar knows anybody who is only going to buy a physical version of this will still buy it a month later or 3 months later. Yeah. But not, is this something that only they could do because this is the biggest game ever made? Or is this how everything's going to start going?
I'd look at it in the other direction, which is to say, if the biggest game on the horizon, possibly of this generation, just by default, is saying they don't need physical at launch, I think it's more of a sign, because there's no, other than the leaking thing, there's absolutely no reason a game this big wouldn't just have a physical copy there for people, because they want everyone to buy it.
The only other thing I can think of, and this probably doesn't actually make much sense, is if they're launching hot and they want a finalized version printed on the disc, after like day one patches and a couple of revisions, and we still haven't heard too much about what's going on with their GTA Online. So maybe that would be finalized on a disc later on, and who knows? But the purported rumors here are about spoilers and leaking, and they definitely take that stuff very seriously.
I mean, look where the majority of GTA 5's bread was buttered was in the GTA Online stuff, and you cannot play that if you do not have an internet connection. If you are looking at the numbers of people who are still playing to this day GTA Online in a like 14-year-old video game now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. When was it? This was last year or the year before. There was some report that like 90% of Capcom's sales are digital now, so it's definitely not just Rockstar. Like,
these are the trends, and these have been the trends.
Definitely industry wide. It really this really just feels like a sign that like our physical release is just going to end up as a boutique like special thing for people who want them for preservation reasons at some point. Is that really where we're headed?
Because that's where all physical media has basically gone at this
point.
point.
I think we mentioned this before. We talked about this before. It feels like the standard release, physical release, is going to go away, and you're just going to wind up with the collector's edition and some nice box for your shelf and maybe a statue and a map for $120. You know.
Yep. Also, man, that fucking Toy Soldiers War Chest thing from Friday. I'm still mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is a game I had digitally that you can no longer download. I discovered midstream on Friday when we were doing G.I. Joe games. And that game had G.I. Joe characters in it. And I was like, I should go check that out for this stream. Nope.
Now, granted,
impossible.
If you had the physical, you still might not be able to play it.
Apparently, so it's two things. There's supposedly a bug that you just can't get past the main menu, which is kind of a big bug.
Yeah.
That they never fixed, apparently. I don't know when this came about, because I played like 30 hours of that game just fine, but... And there may also now be a component that they also took servers offline, and so it might not even be playable. I'm not quite clear, but for whatever reason, they straight up pulled it from download. Like, it's the thing that's not supposed to happen. Typically, if you bought the game, they're supposed to let you keep downloading it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just can't buy it anymore.
This the PT treatment.
This full on, I can't even, it's got a lock on it in my PlayStation library. I straight up cannot download the game anymore, and that makes me furious.
So my understanding is that there was a couple of other like Ubisoft smaller game releases from around this time that ended up in similar situations. Either there was a bad bug or there was some other thing that was just like breaking support for it, and so they just abandoned it outright as opposed to ever just going back and fixing that stuff.
That's fucked, man.
Yeah. Look, nothing clued me into more of the problems of our digital media download society than having to go through the Hasbro catalog of Transformers and G.I. Joe games for how many things were delisted and no longer available for licensing.
It's one thing, and it's not excusable, but it's one thing to have a game-breaking bug that you never fix. Literally barring the person who bought the game from downloading it again is a whole other thing. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those things, like if you were in like the EU, you'd have a case, there'd be some class action suit. Alex, how are things shaking out on the movie and TV video side? Are physical releases still the norm for most theatrical releases?
Yeah, look, a lot of territory has been ceded to boutique labels like the Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, Criterion Collection, etc. But a lot of that is for, do you want a nicer, more thoughtful, more feature-rich version of this than what studios tend to do, which is they do put out discs for the majority of major release films. Big TV series and streaming series will sometimes get physical releases as well. But that stuff tends to be fairly bare bones. Sometimes you get like some interviews and some other things, but it's more just like, look, we're throwing this disc out here. If anyone wants to do more with this, they will have to come and pay us later. So it's still fairly robust in terms of like, hey, the majority of things that go into theaters or get like major releases do find some way to physical. Streaming only is a lot dodgier, but generally speaking, that stuff is still out there. It's just that if you want like what feels like the way the studios used to do like old DVD releases and stuff, that has been left entirely to the boutique labels.
I didn't realize, I thought stuff like Vinegar Syndrome was just like super lost media stuff you've never heard of type stuff. But like, I mean, this is maybe not the biggest film ever, but like they've got a release of Tank Girl from the 90s, the Lori Petty one.
That's one of their upcoming ones.
That's like a movie that was in theaters and had marketing attached to it and stuff. I didn't realize they were doing like bigger theatrical releases like that.
Yeah, they don't do a ton of them, but like they did Roadhouse, you know, like they did a thing for Roadhouse. They did Showgirls. Like they have a lane. That lane is generally schlock and trash, but sometimes it's big budget schlock and trash. And I mean that lovingly. So they do find their way to those movies sometimes, but like that stuff is not as much the wheelhouse as the weird grindhouse movie that they found a print fucking left in the dirt somewhere that they somehow restored to its former glory. But like Arrow and Shout and Criterion, they're much more broad spectrum across everything, and they do a lot more dealing with major studios.
So do you think, and I'm only bringing this up because that seems like a market that also is completely turned on its head with streaming, you know, film and TV stuff. Is it part of contracts that are signed with actors and actresses about points and distribution and rentals, not even rentals, but you know, after theater money versus in theater money and distribution and streaming and digital versus something like games where that probably doesn't exist and you just get the money from the sales.
Oh yeah, like residuals is a whole different thing in video games compared to how other mediums do it. I don't know what the current status of like contracts with actors and performers is with this kind of stuff. Like I know a bunch of major actors have definitely had stuff built into some of their deals with regards to streaming and figuring out ways to like get them money on the back end versus like the way you would normally get it through theatrical release and things like that.
Or even sales of a trackable sales of a physical product.
Yeah, exactly. So some of that stuff is out there. I don't really know a whole lot about where that stuff is at these days, but I do know that especially within like the last couple of rounds of SAG negotiations, there was definitely stuff there of like, hey, they're kind of finding ways to screw us by not putting stuff in theaters. You know, like there are definitely contracts that are still written in such a way that like theatrical release does matter.
I just wonder why that market the physical market thrives so much more there than it does for games in terms
Movies
of...
are $20.
It's just cheaper, you think?
Yeah, like big new 4K discs now at the upper limit tend to like, and I'm not talking about like the boutique label stuff, which tends to be a little bit more. Big new releases are usually no more than $30 to $40.
Yeah, and also I don't know if I'd say it is thriving more in the movie space. I mean, video games, if anything, I feel like have hung on to physical distribution a lot longer than movies. Like I think like music was the first to go, right? Like tons of albums.
Music, I wouldn't even consider
like tons. Yeah, like tons.
By the
of
time
albums
streaming came along, music had basically ceded all territory to piracy. That was it. They had just killed it that way.
Tons of albums aren't even getting CD releases these days. Like it's basically, well, not always. It's like 95% of the time it's still assumed you'll get a physical release of a game unless it's like an indie. I mean, Steam indies obviously are a separate category, but
a thing that is coming out on a console from a publisher you have heard of, usually there is some kind of physical release.
Right. Yeah.
But similarly, I guess you'd say like indie downloadable stuff is kind of like the Netflix TV show, right? Like it might come to a disc. I would say the inverse is probably true, right? There's like 95% of downloadables
limited
never
run
get a disc.
exists out there.
Right.
Like there are those boutique labels that are trying to find ways to do some of that stuff physical, but like they're operating on a much more limited scale than something like a Criterion collection is, you know?
If you had to guess, movies will probably survive on physical past where games will.
Yes, the only question I have is how much far past, because again, the boutique labels exist. They will continue to do that work. How viable that will be long term, I don't know. Like Shout Factory has already talked about, I think, reducing some of their output. I think maybe that stuff is not selling as well as it used to, or we've just hit bedrock at this point to where the movies that are getting that kind of treatment are not the kind people are running out. Like, how many people are going to Vinegar Syndrome and actively plunking down for a 4K copy of the Wesley Snipes movie Drop Zone? Like, how big is that business? I could not actually tell you.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a bit of a difference in consumption habits. Like movies, typically people buy a movie because they want to own it and be able to watch it whenever they want, versus like a lot of people treat video games as consumable commodities, you know? It's like you buy the game, play through it, and then trade it back in for something else.
Yeah, there's very few thing. Like where I play this every Christmas kind of thing.
Of course, publishers hate that though because they despise the used game market to begin with. I feel like everything's going to end up in the same place. It's going to be what Alex is talking about with like boutique operations, just doing limited runs of things that passionate people want.
And I guess the lobbying for brick and mortar just isn't there to come at somebody like Rockstar and be like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? You're not going to drive people to our store?
GameStop has never had less pull right now with anyone than it does right now.
Or even every time I go to like the Target or a Walmart to the video game section, it's always a little sad, you know,
it's been that way for a while.
Yeah. So I guess they're not big enough to bang on some drums and say, you know, this is the biggest release in the decade. You're not going to have this in our stores on release day. How dare you?
Well, it just doesn't matter as much. Like, again, you know, I remember the days of like, you know, companies holding these retail events at resorts and shit. I went to a destination PlayStation where I had to get up and fucking do my little dance in front of like GameStop executives and Walmart executives who were there to buy product, you know, long term. I don't know to what degree you even have to do that shit anymore, because if you want a video game section, yeah, they'll give you the product, but like, do you want one? Do major retailers care that much about this at this point? I'm not sure what the actual viability is of that long term.
So do we think Rockstar probably also not sending out pretty early release code for review?
I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting test. I don't know. I don't know if they care about having reviews at launch.
It's hard to say. I mean, we got Red Dead Redemption 2 was their last major release, which was almost
We got it about
ago.
a week ahead of time, if I remember correctly.
We definitely got access to that game ahead of time, but I don't know where things are at now.
Will it have a burned-in bouncing watermark on it? That
I mean, Red Dead didn't, but I remember there were a lot of restrictions around, hey, you have to hide this game, you can't show us online while you're playing it, all that kind of. I mean, that's stuff other publishers do too, but I do wonder if there's going to be some sort of built-in time bomb to whatever review code they send that will fucking melt your hard drive if you try to fucking do anything to it.
To record it. That is GTA still scheduled to release, but not necessarily scheduled to release day and date on disc, a little TBD.
We'll see what happens with this. Again, it is a rumor right now, but it does come from a source that has been right about things before.
Yeah, we will see. Believable. It is at least a believable rumor. All right, there was an Xbox Developer Direct. It happened. They showed Fable. I'll just say, for me, I watched it, and it didn't really do too much for me on the Fable front. Good to see it, but I think I'm a little in let's just play the game.
Just put the game out.
I definitely want to play that game, but also, yes, it's just, I think they've been promoting it too long.
Yeah.
And I think
we haven't seen that much of it, but what I saw there was just like, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure they did not intend for it to. In fact, they did delay it, right? I'm sure they did not intend for the promotional cycle to last this long, but at this point, it's been so long that I'm like, all right, just let me know when I can play it, which I definitely want to do. Like that, is it the living population? Is that what they call it?
They're like living worlds.
They've got like, they say they've got like 1,000 NPCs in the game with distinct personalities and daily routines and stuff like that. That sounds kind of cool.
Can watch them all day. Forza was shown. This is the Forza in Japan. There was again, I'm not a Forza. It's Forza Horizon or
Horizon
Forza?
6.
Yes, Horizon 6.
Horizon. That's coming out in May. Beast of Reincarnation is a Game Freak action third-person character action game. I've just got to be honest, that didn't do too much for me either.
No.
That's coming out in the middle of 2026. But then there was a Double Fine game.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised to see. This was their kind of, like,
our one more thing.
Well, the Fable was really the one more thing in the presentation, but this was the one I think we didn't know about at all.
Yeah, it was the new game they had not announced.
Yeah. Yes, there was that rumor last week that there would be a secret fourth game, which I speculated was the new Life is Strange, which is definitely not that.
Yeah. Instead,
it's a pottery-brawling game, fighting game from Double Fine called Kiln. It's a party
boy
game. It's not like jumping out of my seat for this, but there is one hook about it that I think seems really interesting, which is that everybody plays pottery.
Yep.
In this like online 4v4 brawler, but they show footage in the trailer. You're like sculpting. You can sculpt your character out of, like, they have a full-on pottery wheel interface where you can, like, if these were still the days of the Kinect, you would probably like literally use your hands to sculpt the pottery.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare.
You're probably using sticks for that, but the thing they say in here that sounds interesting to me is that, like, your multiplayer abilities, your action abilities, are directly going to result from how you design your pottery.
Yeah,
sounds interesting.
Their tech seems cool. Like, you also have to hold water, or you have to hold liquid to put out the opposing player's forge. So you need to be able to, how deep is your vessel? The
description here says the game asks you to craft ceramic battle armor on a realistic pottery wheel, and your abilities are determined by the kind of pot you make.
They're doing some stuff that I feel like I've seen in other spaces where, whether it's using AI or other tools or some kind of thing to do a drawing, and then it interpolates how this character might work or function, make a superhero. And trying to think of the last thing that I really saw this on. Gosh, it might have been in a movie where it was like did you hear that movie Sketch? I think it was called. Kids' drawings come to life. I think it was a thing where it's like, hey, you can sketch a picture, take a picture with our app, and we'll make the character come to life with powers, and we'll decide what the powers are. I don't know what they're doing here, but their tech looks cool, where they put the arms and the legs and the head, and what kind of powers they're inferring you should have from the shape of your pottery. That's neat. I always like when they kind of go at it explicitly and say this is a Amnesia Fortnite thing. Bubbled up. They're taking a break from whatever they were doing. They want to pursue this idea and explore it. And I like when they do their weird stuff. Whether this pottery party game is going to be for me, I'm not sure, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not like jumping out of my seat to play a 4v4 online brawler these days, but if that tech is cool, I would give it a look. I'm just excited to see that they are in fact Double Fine is in fact back to smaller, more frequent release. Keeper just came out in October, and this is coming out in spring. Like, that's 2 releases in the space of 6 or 8 months.
Like, I have no doubt that they are probably working on something larger, a not necessarily a Psychonauts follow-up, but something at that scale probably in the background. But it's great to see proof of life and them just still be willing to do these smaller things and put them out there. I mean, again, I think one of the great successes, if there are any, for this generation of Microsoft is when they have bought studios and let them do things that are not just AAA experiences. I mean, again, Pentiment, one of the best games that this generation of Xbox got, and that was the smaller team at Obsidian just getting to do this weird passion project.
Yeah, and I think all that stuff probably made more sense to leadership there when they thought Game Pass was going to take over the world, and then, at that point, it's the Netflix model of we just need to keep pumping content into our subscription service.
Right.
Like, that has not quite panned out that way, and now these games probably, to some degree, are going to live and die by their own performance, but yes, I think it is... That is the legitimate use of somebody like Double Fine.
Mm-hmm. Let them be weird.
Let them do stuff.
So, yeah, I think that's Kiln was the thing that stood out to me. Obviously, it was unannounced, so, it's going to be a bigger surprise. Fable, a little more of like, sure, yeah, okay, that's, Fable's still coming towards, I think, fall this year. The other thing that stood out to me was just how much PlayStation 5 is attached to and Steam in some regards for Fable to stuff. Kiln, Fable, Forza's getting its PS5 release a little bit later, but it's this year. It's 2026, but it is coming. They are tightening that stuff up in ways that seem like you are pretty much. Feels like to me for first party, you are going to get your PlayStation 5 stuff close to release.
Yep. Valve is starting to feel like an outlier now, where they waited a full year. Yeah,
right. So that initiative seems to not be slowing down. And again, Fable on Steam. I don't know if that feels weird for other people. I think that's cool. Have it on not just be on the Windows Store for your Fable. We'll see. That was a pretty long, well, I guess it's not really that long. The Fable part felt long because I think for me, there wasn't too much stuff there that I was hooking into. They did it. I'll just say, if you were curious, they did announce some character customization in terms of deciding what your character looks like. I think they said you can pick a couple of different pre-generated faces or heads. Mm-hmm. I know that was a big question mark on the Fable list. And then, morality is still in there in terms of how you want to act in a Fable world.
Can I grow horns or not? That's the only question.
I think they said it's a little grayer than that this time, was the implication I got. So we'll see. Okay, Battlefield. People seem to like that Battlefield that came out.
Shockingly,
people seem to like it so much that maybe they liked it a little more than the latest Call of Duty
and everything else. Apparently, Circana put out the top-selling games of 2025 stats. Battlefield 6 was the highest-selling game last year.
That is actually a little wild to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I knew it was a success. I knew they had done well, but damn.
Better sell the company to Saudi Arabia immediately.
And also, further illustrates the point about the passing of Vince Zampella, that they had brought him in to run the new Battlefield group. All the people, again, I was, we said it when we talked about that, all the people going oh, wow, they had just rescued Battlefield. And it's crazy to see the numbers there. They really did bring it back. Man, it was literally the biggest selling game of last year.
And Brad, do you want to read this top 10? Because some of these games on here I would not have necessarily suspected.
Let me make sure this is the actual. Okay, the rank last month thing is this is for the year? I'm just making sure. Yes, Battlefield 6, NBA, 2K26, Borderlands 4, Monster Hunter Wilds, then Call of Duty Black Ops 7. That's what's getting all the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Battlefield outsold Call of Duty last year, and in fact, Call of Duty is in number 5, which is pretty historically low for that franchise. But we've talked plenty about them issuing mea culpas and promising to do better.
I mean, it's very telling that on this list, in the top 10, at number 10, is Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Yep.
Like, in a way, that game is really not that far off sales-wise and overall popularity-wise than the one that actually came out that year.
Yep. 6 through 9 are Madden, EA Sports College Football, and then EA Sports FC, and then Oblivion Remastered. But yes, like it sure
that's
does.
Crazy.
It sure does highlight why they would come out and be like, "Hey, we're not going to do back-to-back sub brands anymore. No more year-over-year Black Ops releases."
I think it's wild that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 EA games in the top 10 last year. Like, that's intense.
Most sports games sell.
Yeah,
certainly. I didn't know Monster Hunter Wilds. I guess I could have guessed Monster Hunter Wilds, but this is a U.S. sales.
Yeah.
This is not international sales. Monster Hunter Wilds, number 4. That's pretty high up there.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is huge at this point.
Yep.
Borderlands 3 or 4 really reminds you that a whole lot of people played those games in college and still have some attachment to that brand.
Some of these franchises just reach that level of stickiness where they're just going to sell a bajillion copies every time they make a new one.
And then
except for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Except for Call of Duty. And then Sony with Ghost of Yotei at number 11. I think that might be Sony's only directly published game.
It is. They didn't put
on
out
this list.
a ton of games last year.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting list. And obviously, Battlefield being number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 being number 5. We live in interesting times.
How the worm turns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Let's just move into, like you said, Alex, this news, or not current news, but news of EA's sale. So as people know, EA is looking to be bought by, let's just say, more than one power here.
But centrally, we were talking about Saudi Arabia and their public investment fund.
Yeah,
it's the Saudi Arabia Public
right?
Investment
like
Fund.
Yeah. I thought the deal closed fully.
I don't know if it's fully.
It's agreed to in principle, I believe,
okay.
if I remember correctly.
But there is this news coming out that members of the U.S. Congress, let me just bring up my notes here, specifically the Labor Caucus, along with 40 other members of the U.S. Congress, are asking the FTC chair to take another look at this sale. Maybe we can. This seems like we've got some concerns. We've got a little bit of concerns about the $20 billion in debt that are going to be on the books here, and how that might encourage layoffs to make this.
That is a good reason.
To make this a thing. We're talking about how EA is a big enough player with wage setting in the industry, and how that might affect wages. They actually reference how much more Andrew Wilson made than the average employee in terms of wages within EA going down over the last few years.
And I think they even cite the fact that it is just an extremely unstable time for the video game industry and the mass layoffs that have been happening over the last couple of years.
Yes, they do. They say workers in the video game industry are already navigating an environment marked by instability, shrinking opportunities, and repeated rounds of layoffs. EA is one of the largest employers of video game workers in the United States, and evidence suggests the company already wields significant wage-setting power. That's what we were talking about right before this. Now, there's a lot of names on this list you'll probably recognize. Some of you might not. These are all members of the House signing in on this. And they make salient points. I'm going to say I read through this. It's not a very long letter they're sending. They make points that are real and not just sound like congressional bullshit. You know, like, hey, these are actually real things that are happening. And they're asking to put a thorough investigation into the consequences of this sale.
Mm-hmm.
Now, This all has to go through the FTC.
Yeah, I was going to say, my only question about the Labor Caucus is whether it's bipartisan or not, and it appears to definitely not be.
But there are other members that have signed on to this.
Yeah.
But like I said, you'll recognize a lot of members from which side of the party they're on this letter.
Yes. Right. I'm sure the FTC under the executive will get right on that.
That's the rub.
I have no illusions about this actually doing anything. I have no illusions about this going anywhere and not getting killed by the current FTC, what have you. Don't even think it's necessarily going to delay this deal that much. But the bare minimum I ask from the people in government I can at least ostensibly rely on is to do what they are doing now, which is raise some heckles. Get out there, give a coherent argument for why this needs to be examined, and at least say you did your goddamn due diligence and not just rubber stamp this shit through.
I agree.
And that's what's happening. So whether it'll go anywhere or not, wouldn't even begin to guess. But I'm glad someone's at least saying something.
I may need to go back to civics class. I think the FTC is actually technically an independent agency.
Yeah.
Not part of the, at least nominally.
But I believe presidents do appoint the chairs, do they not?
I don't want to be too flip, but I think you're not the only one who needs to go back to civics class. Ooh. I think a lot of maybe this administration might need to go back to a civics class. This is a completely farcical administration full of vindictive people who are just out there to make money and punish other people.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The Labor Caucus, I'll just say, at least the chair says the 2023 merger guidelines explicitly state that any mergers that harm workers or allow firms to reduce labor demand, which is what they're talking about in terms of, this buyout, may violate antitrust laws due to the size of the deal, $55 billion. And like we mentioned the debt before, that group feels that extra scrutiny is essential to protecting the rights of American workers that are involved. That is reporting coming from Insider Gaming, and that is a quote from them, Mike Straw. So yeah, I'm with you, Alex. Like, is it gonna stop this deal dead in its tracks? Is it gonna actually force somebody to give more scrutiny to it? Probably not, but alarms need to be continued to be raised, right?
Let me again be absolutely clear. I have no illusions about this Saudi deal not going through. Like it's going to happen. I think people gave me some guff when I said that despite all the, the saber rattling and some of the stuff that happened in the UK around the Microsoft and Activision deal, that it was still going to go through. It did. I have zero faith in modern American government regulation to stop a deal like this.
Good luck.
To who?
All of us.
Yeah.
To all of us, really.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Godspeed.
Good luck to the Saudi royal family. It's about time they won one, right?
Yeah. They even in that thing they go into like the other things that their holdings, their golf stuff, and all this other stuff, and how this isn't super great because it affects a lot of industry.
Indeed.
Just to bring to your attention here. Mm-hmm. The other thing, last story here I have that I thought was kind of funny because it's Nintendo and I think this game is great. Dispatch is coming to the Switch. We all know that. Mm-hmm. There is an option in Dispatch when you play it to censor some of the more bawdy moments. There are some dicks swinging around. There are some nipples to be shown. I played it uncensored, so I'm not sure how that manifests. Mm-hmm. It's probably mosaiced out or such, given the nature of the game. Nintendo said, fuck that shit, censored. You do not.
Which Nintendo doesn't do a lot of these days, or at least not in a very public way.
I mean, it made me laugh because, of course, Nintendo, right?
Yes.
And maybe, maybe they're like, we don't want parents buying this game that looks like a cartoon for kids, and
Fair,
then suddenly,
I guess,
there's people just straight up fucking.
So it's mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Huh?
Mandatory fucking.
You don't have the option to toggle it off, at least as of now. Ad hoc, the people who are putting out Dispatch, different platforms have different content criteria, and submissions are evaluated individually. They are saying that the censorship on the Nintendo console will not affect any of the gameplay or the overall narrative. So I assume it is just similar with the toggle. They continue. We worked with Nintendo to ensure the content within the title met the criteria to release on their platform, but the core narrative and gameplay experiences remain identical to the original release. So, kind of funny.
Look,
to me, maybe not to other people.
Not surprised by this. I think it's just we don't hear about a lot of this stuff because Nintendo does have a very wide open platform in a lot of ways, like especially compared to where it was when the Switch first launched. Like, they let a lot of junk onto the Nintendo eShop that maybe they wouldn't have when, let's just say, the Nintendo seal of quality was something that mattered. But they don't. You don't hear about them going out and censoring content in games that often these days. And I think it's mostly because most people who put out adult-oriented games just either
aren't going to the Switch.
Just aren't going to the Switch for the most part.
Yeah.
But Dispatch has that kind of like crossover thing of like, hey, they're younger players. I'm sure they're probably into what Dispatch is doing. That's probably like an early teenager, like, look, I'm experiencing body media in some way or another thing. But Nintendo is just going to be Nintendo.
Where I watched with the kids where they were like, Dad, doing the thing of just like, I shouldn't be watching this.
You got to learn about this eventually, all right?
Yeah. Dispatch is awesome. So
I'm getting the Genesis version of Dispatch with the original fatalities.
Better audio on that one too.
I'm putting in the nipple code. I'm always with the nipple code. That's the news. That's it. That's all that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All the stuff that we feel is fit to print.
Yes, or speak about. Curious what other people thought about the Xbox Developer Direct. I didn't see too much chatter about it. But we're getting a lot more stuff. I think there's a state of play that has been announced.
Yeah, did they say what's in that at all?
But I did not. I only saw the headline come through. I didn't see if they had a roster for that. You're going to find out about the Mario movie soon. I think there's a Nintendo Direct about
what's to find out.
One.
Yoshi's in it. That's it.
I need to know everything about Yoshi.
I've started seeing some ads for that thing. Does not really fix any of the problems, seemingly, that I had with the first one. So I'll still watch that garbage, but whatever.
Yeah, I'll watch that. I'll watch it too.
Oh, I'm reminded that Saros is not super far off, so Sony might be at the state of play.
Which one is that?
That's Saros is the Housemarque follow-up to Returnal.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Oh, there's rumors going around the Control Resonant might actually not be that far off, but then Remedy kind of came out and squashed that yesterday. Some people were saying that game is coming out this spring.
No, I bet that game at the absolute earliest is a fall release, but I'd be more inclined to think that is a next year release that we will start hearing about more this year.
I think they said it is this year.
It is this year?
I'm pretty sure they said, I'm pretty sure the messaging was all we've announced is 2026.
That'd be cool.
Things do get delayed, though.
Oh, what? No.
It could happen. It could happen to you.
What? I think I'd know about it. I think I'd...
Would you? Are you going to be the first one to know?
The New York magnate?
You're going to find out about it online? Read it in an article?
Is it
the investment magnate? I think I know about that.
Is it time? Is it time to see something from Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3?
Oh my gosh, there was just a story floating around about that, about why they're on Unreal Engine or something. I can't remember.
They're staying on UE4 was the. Okay. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline is that they considered moving to UE5 and then didn't.
I wonder how many people retire after that game. Just like, what was your whole career?
It's literally
I was working on Final Fantasy VII remakes. My whole career took 20 years.
Yeah, it's only been 2 years since the last one. It might be a little soon to see it.
I think it just depends on what their scope is for that thing.
Yep.
Are they going to rein it in a little bit or not? Well, that's all future stuff. News is now in the past. I guess TBD, on what Highguard becomes. That's all in the future as well. But we do have some emails to get through. Brad Shoemaker, can you pluck us out an email or two here?
Actually, this is kind of relevant to the thing we were just talking about from Jeffrey in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. Did Jeffrey at Columbus, Ohio, did he send an email to podcast@nextlander.com? Wait, was it podcast at nextlander.com?
I'm looking at the header right here.
Okay.
Podcast@nextlander.com.
That's right.
Okay. Please continue.
I was playing Judgment recently, which came out in 2018, and was prompted to save my game before the extended final sequence. I noticed my I noticed my oldest save was from back in 2019 when I first started it after Alex's convincing recommendation. The 2019 save slot was a striking contrast to my latest 2026 save, especially given it only took around 35 hours or so to beat. Granted, I'd only play it here and there, really just to visit Kamurocho. What game took you the longest to complete, and how long did it take? This is 7 years, by the way. That's 7 years to beat this game. That's pretty impressive. I mean, Rebirth is the kind of the reason I brought this up almost, because I still think to myself, am I ever going to go back and finish Rebirth? I don't know. I really wanted to see that through.
So this is in the vein of I played some of this, I put it down, and I came back.
Yes.
Okay.
Just kind of general start to finish, but boy, did the public opinion feel like it turned hard on that game.
Yeah. Red Dead 1 for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played a bunch of Red Dead 1 when it came out and then promptly put it down, and then I didn't touch it again until many years later. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but it was a considerable amount of time. And then it was in the lead up, I remember, to Red Dead 2. I was like, I should finish Red Dead 1. I should probably actually see how that game ends. So I went back and I finished Red Dead 1. I did probably like somewhere in the 6 months to a year before Red Dead 2 came out.
Do you just pick up your old save in that? Like, I always ask myself, like, am I even going to know what's going on? Should I just start over at this point?
So there was like a remaster or a later release of that game that I booted up from the beginning and was like, oh, I remember what happened here. I did this. So I think I actually did end up pulling up my old save and just picking up where I left off, more or less. I had not gotten that deep into the game. I had gotten some hours, but I would say there was still plenty left for me to see.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn was one that I'd put down for like 2 years halfway through and then actually came back and finished. Ended up being super glad I did. I'm currently coming up on 4 years since Forbidden West came out.
Uh-huh.
Still tell myself I will go back and finish that at some point.
I'm trying to think of something. Like Hollow Knight was one in the recent past that I had touched and then came back and finished, but I don't think it was that long. Boy, I was always thinking about this in terms of going back maybe for a feature at some point and trying to beat some of those old games that, like, I never beat Blaster Master, right?
You know, I'll say this.
Mega Man
1, I think the only time I ever beat Mega Man 1 was when we started streaming it. I had played that game dozens of times as a kid and just never actually gotten to the point of beating it. And I think that Blue Bombin episode was... So that is probably the widest gap from between when I started a game and when I actually finished it.
If that's the standard...
Yeah, we're talking work stuff.
Yeah.
If that's the standard, when did I start playing... When did I finish Super Mario Brothers on stream?
Oh, boy.
Because that's like over 30 years.
Was that your first time beating it?
Yes. That was the whole reason we did that stream, because I had never finished Super Mario Brothers, and that's over 30 years from the first time I played that game to beating it.
That's probably similar amount of time, though slightly less for Mega Man 1.
I probably have like a Castlevania thing as well in that same...
Yep. It's funny how content makes you, like, kind of forces your hand a little bit, and you're like, you know what? I can't just say I'm not going to finish this and do this, right?
It's probably on the natural non-work timeline. There are definitely Witcher, the first Witcher. I remember I played and put it down, but that's almost a weird one because they went back and they changed so much stuff in that first one.
Right.
By the time I came back, it had been so mechanically even different. But that's when I remember being like, I don't get this game, and then coming back and being like, I'm gonna play this game and really loving it, and starting over there. Yeah, I mean, work throws a monkey wrench into stuff like that.
Or it forces you to finally do the thing you've been saying forever, which is I should beat that game finally.
I should beat Paradise Island. Is that the Nintendo game? What's the one with the yo-yo?
Oh, no. Adventure Island.
No, that's the Hudson game.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of
yo-yo.
Had the bird
Star
on
Tropics?
the Nintendo.
Star Tropics?
Star bird on the cover with the... You put the thing in the water,
I don't know anyone who's
right?
ever beaten Star Tropics. I'm sure someone has.
Did you?
I do know one person.
You owned it or you rented it?
That one, this came up when I dumped all my saves. Apparently, I didn't own it, but I still have my cousin's copy of it, apparly.
Oh, wow.
Because he had it, and I must have borrowed it from him at some point. Never gave it back.
Okay, great. Was there a thing in the manual you had to put in water or dissolve
I
something?
don't remember how that works. yes.
There was some goofy thing. I do remember that.
It came with a piece of paper that if you got it wet, you could read the code or something like that.
Man.
I forget.
While we're on this email, I'll just say, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It was recommended, I think it was Tang who recommended in our Discord, Box 1 by Neil Patrick Harris. It's a puzzle box thing. It was pretty fun. I don't want to talk too much about it.
Wait, it's a game?
It's a board game.
Can you put his name on it?
Oh, it is a lot of NPH all over that thing.
Huh.
A game for one created by one. Is
it's
the
a cool,
tagline on this. So did he
it's
actually?
It's a cool disposable kind of thing.
He actually designed it himself?
I don't want to get into too many of the
You don't want to make any
spoilers
bold
for it.
claims here.
Okay.
No, I mean some of it's part of the game itself.
Mhm.
So if you're into puzzle rooms and things,
It's a physical item?
it is a physical item.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard Box 2 not as good. Box 1 though, it was fun. It was fun. It was cool.
Okay.
Anyway, another email.
Yes. Oliver from Perth. Perth.
Uh-huh.
In
That's not bad.
Yeah.
On your recent episode, you asked why so many former CEOs join boards in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is very simple. If you're a non-executive director on a board, the entire job is 4 to 6 meetings a year, and you get paid $50,000 a year at the low end.
What?
I'm sure the Hasbro board pays significantly higher than that. So basically, being on a few boards keeps you a little busy, not enough to impact your retirement, but enough to stop you getting bored, and the payout is pretty substantial.
Interesting.
Yeah. That certainly makes sense. And
it's more or less what I thought it would be.
And I said this last week. I mean, that's also a good way to rub shoulders with other big, important people, and I'm sure it gets you a lot of influence as well.
Collect
Makes
board
sense.
memberships. Yeah.
They're just make work jobs for our retired CEOs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they need it.
Yep.
All right, one more?
One more.
Yes. This one might be a little long. I think we'll get through it pretty quickly. From Hollywood Bill.
Okay.
I don't know what the occasion is here exactly. Let's play a game. Below, you'll find a list of people with and without stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay.
Can you figure out which ones do and do not grace the filthy, filthy pavement of Hollywood, California?
Okay. The Walk of Fame is a thing that you can actually potentially like buy your way into, isn't it?
Really?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's some politics involved in, much like the Oscars or anything else in that world. I'm sure there's some amount of like political campaigning involved or something.
I got a friend.
Anyway, all right. He spoilered the answers here, so I can't even see them until I click.
Okay.
Okay, these are in like sets of 3.
Okay.
Which one of these has a star? Alex Trebek, Alex Rodriguez, Alexander Skarsgård.
Alex Trebek.
Yeah, that seems like the only possible answer. It is Trebek. Okay. Okay, this one Okay, Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper, Terry Bradshaw. It can't be Terry Bradshaw.
No.
It
could
be.
It could be.
But like it's gotta be Brad. Does Brad Pitt
I'm gonna say Pitt.
Does he
I'm
not
gonna go with Pitt.
Is it possible he doesn't have a star?
It would be weird if it wasn't Pitt. I'm leaning toward Pitt, but just Bradshaw is such a weird inclusion that I feel like it has to be him, right?
It's Bradshaw.
Wow, okay.
So Pitt and Bradley Cooper don't have a star?
Yep. Apparently not.
Interesting.
Vincent D'Onofrio, Vince Vaughn, Vince Lombardi.
I'm leaning Vince Vaughn.
Has one?
Yeah.
You think there's an age? No, probably not. Probably not. You could probably get like
after the Terry Bradshaw one, it feels like it's got to be Lombardi. Right?
Lombardi, right?
I feel like that's them trying to trick us again.
Yeah, no, it's Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
All right. Who out of these does not have a star?
Okay, does not.
Now we're getting into some themes here.
Okay.
This is the partial cast of Crime Boss Rocky City.
Okay.
Okay.
Kim Basinger, Danny Glover, Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris definitely. I can almost see Chuck Norris bending down, putting his hands in the thing.
Danny Glover is the one I'm going to say.
That's probably my answer too. It is Danny Glover.
Okay.
Okay. GTA alumni.
Okay.
Michael Madsen, Ray Liotta, and Dr. Dre.
I bet Dr. Dre doesn't have one.
You think?
I don't know.
Ray Liotta or Ray Liotta, I guess.
Dr. Dre doesn't do a ton of acting, does he?
He's done some, and again, he is a very entertainment adjacent in a lot of different ways.
Maybe it's Ray Liotta. Who was the first one again?
Michael Madsen.
I feel like
I could see Michael
Madsen
Madsen not having one.
Also, he would have fit in the Rock City thing as well.
It's Michael Madsen.
It's Michael
Okay.
Madsen? I feel like he would have like schmoozed up against somebody enough to get one.
He's was a very brusque personality.
Yeah.
I could see it being hard for him to get a sponsor for that.
How can we get one? How does this work?
Okay, so it's maintained by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. There is a sponsorship fee involved that I believe is somewhere in the neighborhood of $85,000. And I believe someone has to sponsor you to have one.
Okay.
And they have to be on the board, the chamber, like, or is it just like an actor who has one has to sponsor you?
Someone, I have no idea how the sponsorship process was. I know Keith David got one recently. I don't know who sponsored him, but it was because someone else went and sponsored him to get a star.
All right.
This is immediately way less glamorous.
Yeah.
Now
it's all a racket.
All right. This one is depressing. Famous doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dr. Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Dr. Demento, who's cool.
Dr. Demento, I bet, does not have one.
That's wait, God, really?
Yes, because those other two are the ones that would absolutely jump at the chance to have their own star.
Yes, actually, given the parameters you've just outlined, it makes perfect sense why they would have one.
And somebody would be like, I'll sponsor them for sure. What else can I get?
Okay.
Can I be in the cabinet?
The last bit is a little more complicated. Each of the following received their stars in one of the stated years?
Mm-hmm.
State which year each person received their star.
Okay.
I can't do this.
This is complicated. Okay.
All right, let's try it.
The years are 2005, 2015, and 2025.
Okay.
Oh, okay. 2015, 2025.
The people are Keanu Reeves, Busta Rhymes, and Ed Harris.
Keanu 2025.
Oh, no, it's got to be sooner than that.
You think? You don't think he's a John Wick recipient?
No.
You think it's like a Point Break?
I could see he might be the first
Matrix?
one. Like Matrix was huge.
Yeah, but where are you going to put Busta Rhymes?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why is Busta Rhymes?
Is Ed Harris still alive, right?
Yes.
I could see Ed Harris being earliest.
In 2005, though?
Ed Harris, 2005? He must have done something.
I'm going to go Busta Rhymes, Ed Harris, Keanu.
Busta Rhymes in 2005? Really?
Yes.
I'm going to go Ed Harris, Busta, Keanu.
Okay.
Something happened in the middle with Busta. I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, I swear this is what I was going to say. I just didn't say it. Keanu, then Ed Harris, then Busta Rhymes.
What?
Why did he get one in 2025?
I have no idea. No idea.
Somebody's sponsored.
It's not that I don't like Busta Rhymes or anything. Like, yeah, sure, by all means. It's just like, what happened?
Sponsorships.
All right, last one.
Okay.
This is just decades. 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Charlie Sheen, Glenn Close, John Travolta.
80s, 90s, 2000s?
Yeah. I'm going to say Travolta, then Glenn Close, then Charlie Sheen.
I would probably go with that. That would probably have been my guess.
When did 2.5 Men come out?
That was like a 2000s.
Okay. So
sure.
I'm going to agree that it is Charlie Sheen in the 2000s. I'm going to say it is, sorry, who are the other two? Glenn Close?
Glenn Close and Travolta.
Travolta.
I'm going to say Travolta's 90s, and I'm going to say Glenn Close is 80s.
Interesting. No, none of us are right.
Okay.
What?
It's Travolta, then Sheen, then Glenn Close in the 2000s.
Interesting. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this, huh?
Nope, it's a bunch of bullshit.
I would have figured Travolta would have gotten his in the wake of his 90s resurgence, not in the merits of his 80s output, shall we say. I did not think the Look Who's Talking movies would be enough to get him sponsored for a Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Broken Arrow, that was going to be the
I bet like his
Face Off.
Pulp Fiction, baby!
Yeah, you're
I
right.
bet his
Pulp
late
Fiction could have
70s.
been.
I bet like Saturday Night Fever and stuff. Probably
I'm starting
pretty
to
big
think
deal there.
that Heat has nothing to do with this. Like
It
like,
really doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's some inciting event that's going on with them that makes them publicly relevant again, but beyond that, no.
Are they going to run out of squares?
I don't know how they deal with that. I don't know if they just eventually take certain stars off, if like maybe they aren't paying their rent or something, but you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't really know how any of this works because I don't care that much.
Right,
it's not an important thing. It's just a thing I kind of know about.
They have a map on their website.
Okay.
It's kind of all over the place.
Like at a certain point, are they going to be extending into like Reseda or something and somehow it's still going up there?
It's not one strip like some of them spill off like side streets.
I've never been there. I've never seen it.
I've seen the stars. I've never tried to follow the path of them or anything.
Like there's quite a few of them up and down Vine, for example.
I see. So do you get the sense looking at this map that you could be in prime real estate, or you could be just off to the side?
It really
somewhere?
depends. Yeah.
I'm sure you want the main drag of Hollywood Boulevard if you can help it.
What if you get a shit neighbor? What if you're just like, oh, forget it. I don't want to be. Maybe that's why some people wait. They're like, the next one up is this person. I don't want to be next.
I mean, I'll go you one further. There's no street in Los Angeles where any of that stuff is going to remain pristine for very long.
Yeah, that's for sure. I will say I'm just like clicking all the random ones like right in the middle of the whole mess. And it's all people pretty much all people I've never heard of, with exceptions like Jack Benny and Fats Domino. So I think that's all the old Hollywood like original people are there in the prime territory.
How many does it say? Like, do you get a sense of how many there are? Are we talking hundreds?
Thousands, I would think.
Is it thousands?
I don't see a count.
Okay.
Here. Oh wait, hang on.
Because it's been there's been some version of it, I think, since at least the 50s, if I remember correctly.
Whoa, God, that's a lot. WalkOfFame.com has a like sortable list and a map.
Jeez.
I expanded it to all entries, and it is a gigantic webpage.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, 2,619.
Oh, my. Oh,
but
my.
I mean, think about how many squares are on a sidewalk. Now, this is, and especially when you're talking about Hollywood Boulevard, that's a wider sidewalk, and I believe they have in some cases, like multiple stars along kind of the same general block. So, if you're actually thinking about the total amount of sidewalk real estate, it's not that high, but still.
Yeah, their like splash image at the top of the page is a sidewalk that's clearly at least like 5 or 6 squares wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're kind of diagonal back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, the two they chose to highlight are Buster Crab and Slash.
Great.
I don't know what a Buster Crab is.
Oh, he's like like vaudeville era.
Is he Mr.
Like,
Krabs from SpongeBob?
Is he thinking of Buster Keaton?
Oh no, he was a
yeah. Buster Keaton is, I think, the guy you're thinking of.
Buster Crab was an Olympic swimmer and actor.
Okay.
From the 30s.
Sure.
Is he an actual crab?
Won his gold medal for swimming in the 30s and then became an actor.
Became a handsome boy in Hollywood.
Does that site you're on, Brad, have like fun trivia about like most defaced star? Or
I
this
don't
one
think
was
they like
stolen?
to highlight that.
No.
Yeah, like, who stole a star? I'm sure somebody's tried to steal one. Or I'm sure I know people have pooped on them. Or
someone is pooping on one right now. I can almost assure you that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what happens if somebody takes a sledgehammer and defaces it. Like, do you get to do it again? Do you own that spot?
Also, is it possible to be disgraced enough that you don't get to have one anymore?
Ooh, do they just pave over
like, does a Harvey Weinstein, if he ever got one, which I don't know if he ever did, like, at a certain point, do you say maybe we don't keep that one around anymore?
Or don't maintain it? If so, say somebody took a jackhammer to that one, maybe that's oops. Oopsie.
Real shame.
There's all kinds of lists of most vandalized stars out there.
There are, okay. Yeah, well, good.
Again, this is not a meaningful or important thing in any way, shape, or form unless you are just a Hollywood person that cares about this kind of stuff. But
I wonder
it is
how
kind
much
of
they
interesting.
do. Yeah, well, just in terms of this, what you can buy, right? Like, what kind of vanity plate can you buy for your
Well, I think
car?
they're all the same. I think they're all basically the same.
The same? Okay, you can't get bigger fonts or anything like that?
No. I think at most what they do is the star itself has like a little icon within it that sort of indicates what part of the entertainment industry you're from.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get your handprints in there? You do, right?
That's different. That's the Grauman's Chinese Theater thing, I think.
Oh, that's cooler then. At least that's like you're like have a
I don't
part
even know if
of
they
you
still
in there.
do that.
Oh, really?
I haven't
Okay.
seen, I mean, granted, I don't watch a lot of, let's just say, Entertainment Tonight these days or anything like that, which is generally how you would find out about this sort of thing back in the day. But I don't know that anyone really does that handprints in the cement thing anymore.
That's cool though, because then you can go and put your hands in somebody's hands. That's like, see how big their hands are. That's like at least fun. The star is just the thing.
It's just a star. It's a star. It memorializes the fact that you were important enough for someone to care to do this.
Or had enough money.
Yeah.
Man,
all right. Well, that was a fun little quiz.
Entertainment Tonight and so long. I can still just call that theme music to mind whenever.
Yep.
Is that do?
Mm-hmm.
Tesh,
baby.
Tesh. That's
John
Tesh.
Tesh.
Yeah. Well, those are fun. That was a fun little quiz.
I always like a good quiz.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'm sure the news will have changed. The releases will all have been pushed back or released, and everything will have changed by the time you hear this, but that's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank everybody for listening to us, for joining us. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. Alex, what's going on with the Watchcast?
We have just wrapped up our month of, let's just say, tearing apart our consumerist childhoods with Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Masters of the Universe. And we are about to move on to a month of personal faves. I've decided that each of us this year will do one of those. I'm taking the lead just because I want you guys to have some time to think about what you want to do for yours. But so you guys picked a couple from a big list I made. I filled out the rest. And in February, we are doing The Conversation from Francis Ford Coppola. We are doing Fargo from the Coen brothers. We are doing Thief from Michael Mann, and we are doing Jonathan Glazer's Sexy Beast. Not necessarily in that order. The full schedule will be up by the time Friday rolls around. You will be able to get the full order, but The Conversation, definitely up first.
That's fun. I haven't seen any of these, so
Neither of
I'm
you
excited
have, right?
to watch this. Brad, have you seen Fargo?
You have not seen
remember.
Fargo specifically.
No, that's why I picked it.
Yep.
So we'll be making lists. I've been trying to think about my list. When you say faves, do you mean things that you really like or things that were important to you as part of your life?
I don't care, honestly.
Okay.
Like, to me, it is
Have some meaning to you?
If you care about it enough to put it on a list like this, it doesn't matter what form that takes. As The Conversation is a movie I've seen exactly once. I loved it, and it made an impression. But I was like, you know what? This is a good excuse to watch it again, see if it holds up to my memory. But any version of favorite, even if it's something you think maybe doesn't hold up super well in 2026, it's like, if you liked it at a time, I'm still willing to entertain it.
There are some movies that I'm like, I would like to watch this with you guys because it has a meaning to me in my life.
Yeah.
You know, like
that totally counts.
But not necessarily because I think it's an awesome movie that, you need to be there to watch. I'll be honest with you, like my dumb list would be, and I'm not picking these, but I'm trying to think a little outside of this. It's gonna be like Back to the Future 2, Ghostbusters, right? Last Crusade. Let's just watch all the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? Like, these are movies that I put on a lot and enjoy. But I think I'm going to try and think of things that are a little more outside of my that zone.
Just because we don't do them this time, we can still do those another time.
That's right.
I didn't even put Ghostbusters up for, being picked on my list, not because it isn't my favorite movie. It still kind of is. But I'm like, if we do Ghostbusters, maybe we do a broader Ghostbusters thing. And it's not just we watch the first movie.
At some point, it's just Ghostbusters, then it's just us literally just reciting the entire movie. I feel like we've all seen that movie probably so many times. More
times than I can literally count.
But that's the Watchcast. And first up is The Conversation.
The Conversation is up first.
So go get your copy. Find a copy. And check it out. We've got the conclusion to Road to Empress, or I did not realize that Road to Empress concluded, but it did. There are multiple parts,
with a
I guess.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, we did not become the Empress quite yet, so I guess TBD on Road to Empress 2, but that was on Tuesday.
May have been delayed for certain reasons, which we at least posit as we were talking about it in the final stream. Again, I don't know everything about that, but let's just say one of the actors might be involved in some kind of tax fraud.
Possibly.
Yeah,
possibly.
Like
we said before, Highguard, we played it on Monday. You can check that out. We've got the Ramblecast. We've got Patreon Q&A. We've got Never Been a Better podcast going up at the end of this week. Those things are all on the Patreon, patreon.com/Nextlander. Bunch of different tiers there you can find. You can start at the lowest tier if that's where you want to go, or you can go all the way up to Mysterious Benefactor tier. We do actually have a voting tier there also, and that we do have a poll, I think we mentioned before at the top of this show, where we got a couple of choices there. That one choice Alex was talking about, the best 80s cartoon intros. You can go and vote for that if you want to head over to patreon.com/Nextlander and get yourself into the appropriate tiering there. But there is one tier there, Alex.
Yes.
There's a tier. And it's called the Mysterious Benefactors tier. And they get their names read on this here show. Would you do us the honor of reading the Mysterious Benefactors for this week?
Our Mysterious Benefactors for this week are... I live in Minneapolis and am running out of good vibes to send. Alpha Rhythm. Ennui Felicitous Rips. I got it. David L. Kelly F. Brian Lucier. Skywarp. Jason Grimm. John Hubbard. Thordreen. Evan Cook. Jerry Lee. Deirdre the Bon Me Queen. Pugtato. With Bunnies. Jad Rita. Statics. Brian Murphy. Randy Duax. Randy Alderson. Andrew Tiebkin. Alex Wu. It's Me JP. Edward Chick. Andrew Slosky. Steve Lynn. Matthew Herrig. David Campos. And Tyler Treese.
Thanks to everyone who supported us. Thanks to our Mysterious Benefactors. As always, again, I'll say this. Talk about it. People are supporting us. We really appreciate it. We know there are a lot of really tough times going on out there. So we appreciate the support. Recognize a lot of long-term names on this Mysterious Benefactor list, and we really do appreciate it. And we appreciate you sticking with us and supporting us. We try to do this as direct to you as possible. We've talked about it before. We don't really take sponsorships. We do sponsors ads in the podcast, but we don't do a lot of sponsored streams. So we try to make what we can off of the support of you. And that's really the only way that we could make this work. That's right. The way that you make this work.
Direct to consumer.
That's right.
Farm to table, mouth to speaker.
Our opinions, though they may be wrong, are our own.
It's true. We own them.
From our mouths to your speakers.
That's right. That's right. You can think whatever you want about what we're saying, but no, pretty much nobody's paid us to say it for better or worse. So thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your support. Again, we got a Patron's Choice coming up on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. Make the right choice. Go out there. Go vote. Exercise your ability to vote.
Really try not to put my thumb on the scales of the patron polls, but sometimes there's a clear one that you want to win.
Do you have one in mind, Brad?
I don't know.
Okay,
I think it'll be fine. I think the right choice is being made.
Okay.
And look, I'll say this again. There's always a chance for stuff to come back up. Yeah. Other polls, other streams, other places. So check that out. Hopefully we'll be back on Friday with something super duper fun. I can almost guarantee it. So join us there. But for now, that is going to end our show. Thank you very much, Alex Navarro.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brad Shoemaker.
Thank you.
Again, strong thanks to everyone out there doing the good work in the toughest of times, out in the Twin Cities, out across the country. Our hearts go out to all of you out there. Hopefully, we'll get through this.
Yeah.
And we'll come out the other side. But thank you to everyone out there who's making a difference. All right, that's going to do it for our show. We'll be back next week.